Following is a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Out wide right with Ladero onto his favored left foot. Finds Jack McGlynn centrally, just hit the post moments ago. No whistle as Musa got a tug of the jersey. We play on, ball in behind for Julio. Foot race here. Anderson, Julio, past Tarbell, empty net. Anderson, Julio!
After a disappointing 3-0 defeat in Game 1 against the Whitecaps at BC Place, it's win or stay home for FC Dallas tonight. A win gives them one more chance to advance in the 2025 MLS Cup Playoffs. A loss sends them to the golf courses for the rest of 2025. Eric Quill and company have been strong at home down the stretch, having gone undefeated at Toyota Stadium in just over 3 months. The season comes down to a Saturday night special here in Frisco as FC Dallas takes on Vancouver in Game 2 of the 2025 MLS Cup Playoffs first round. Along the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Appreciate everyone joining us on the FC Dallas app, the Burncast tonight on YouTube, and Sirius XM as well as we bring you tonight's Game 2 of the playoffs. On tonight's presentation, we'll have the sounds of tonight's match. Our broadcast team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me. We'll break down every facet of tonight's playoff game. But as we do for all home games, we'll do one last time here in 2025. We welcome in the FC Dallas Insider. He is one-third of the FC Dallas agenda. And, of course, you can find all his fine work on FCDallas.com. It is a very well-dressed Garrett Meltzer. Garrett, happy playoffs to you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Well, obviously, it's the end. Regardless of what happens tonight, this is the last home game of 2025 for FC Dallas, unless something miraculous happens. I believe it involves Portland doing something that, let's face it, they're just probably not going to do. So as we look at their home form, Dallas hasn't lost at home since July 25th, but it's been a very Jekyll and Hyde situation when it comes to how Dallas has played here in Frisco this year.
Yeah, for sure. The home form really depends on which part of the season you look at. Unfortunately, the first half was really, really tough here at Toyota Stadium. Dallas had the very unwanted record of 1 win from their first 10 home games. But to Eric Quill's credit, they turned the corner in mid-July, like you said, and they went undefeated in their last 5, 4 wins and 1 draw. And that 1 draw was against a very hot LAFC team. So they turned the corner for sure, and they're playing a lot better, and they're going to have to play very, very good tonight here at home to beat this Vancouver side, because this is a very, very impressive Vancouver Whitecaps team.
It most definitely is, as Dallas found out, unfortunately, last week. Well, let's look at the 11 that are charged with trying to save the season tonight. It's Michael Colodi in net, Sebastian Ibiaga, Osaze Urquide, and Nolan Norris on the back line. Bernard Kamungo, Ramiro, Kaike, Shaq Moore, and Christian Kappas in the midfield. Petter Musa and Logan Farrington up top. And, of course, the big news there is the 2 players up top, Petter Musa, Logan Farrington, the perfect Parrington, as some do call them. They are back tonight for Game 2 after Farrington came off the bench in Game 1. And this kind of feels a little bit like Eric Quill saying, okay, I tried something last week, it didn't work, but this is the group that has got me to where I need to go.
Absolutely, and I understand why Eric Quill went with a speedier team up in Vancouver looking to hit on the breakaway, because they knew they were going to have a lot of the ball, especially away from home at BC Place. Unfortunately, that did backfire a little bit. Dallas did well. They didn't have enough possession to even get those speedy guys up the field. So it makes sense to go back to what got them here, and that was, by and large, the top 2 pairing of Logan Farrington and Petter Musa. That pair scored 14 of the team's last 25 goals, and what's so impressive about them is not just the goals, but also many times one of them played the creator as well as the finisher. Once Lucho Acosta left the team as summer transfer window, Dallas didn't really have a designated playmaker in that midfield to create these chances. So more often than not, it was one of those forwards dropping in, finding the other one with that killer pass and creating the goal. Both of them are going to have to play a very important role tonight, because Dallas is going to need to score goals to win this game unless they want to enter the lottery of the penalty shootout, which I guarantee they do not want to do.
No, most definitely not. And if you want a fun little viewing experience, go check out Logan Farrington's FB Ref page. A lot of green on the playmaking side, which is a little bit unexpected considering he was brought into FC Dallas to score goals, which, hey, he's done a pretty good job of himself. And then as we look at the midfield tonight, obviously Patrickson available but off the bench tonight. So that means Dallas is changing slightly what they want to do. You'll see the wingbacks, Shaq Moore and Bernard Kamungo. Ramiro moves inside to play next to Kaike, but it's going to be Christian Kappas playing a little bit more of an advanced role. We asked Eric Quill about it yesterday when we saw it in training, and he said, well, Kappas has played number 10 for me for a long time when we were used together in Houston. So he was very confident in Kappas. I'm curious what you think that's going to look like as Kappas has not played this position since he came back to MLS.
Well, I'm really interested to see it, but I completely understand the logic behind this from Eric Quill, because watching Game 1, it was very, very clear that Dallas needed another midfield body in there to compete with Sebastian Berhalter and Andres Cubas, because they ran the entire show for Vancouver, and Dallas just couldn't get a sniff. They were too outnumbered in midfield, so I knew Eric Quill was going to bring in an extra midfielder at least somewhere. I am a little surprised that it's Christian Kappas playing that advanced midfield role. We know Patterson isn't quite fit enough to go from the start here tonight, but look, Christian Kappas is Eric Quill's guy. He trusts him more than anyone else in the roster, maybe not named Petter Musa, but they go way back to the youth level. He coached him for 5+ years down in Houston. He helped him launch his pro career here in Dallas. So I'm not surprised at all that when the season's on the line and they need someone to play a little bit out of position, he goes to the guy he trusts, and that's Christian Kappas.
Yeah, at this rate, he could probably say, yeah, Kappas is going to start in goaltender because we're out of goaltender. I'd be like, yeah, sure, it'll probably work out just fine. That's how confident Quill is in Kappas, and by extension, I am in that assessment. Well, speaking of changes, there's one on the back line tonight. Obviously, with Shaq Moore going out to wingback, that opened up a spot on the back line. And surprise, surprise, it's Nolan Norris getting the shout. Our own Ryan Figert actually predicted this on the FC Dallas agenda this week. But obviously, as big proponents of the Nolan Norris agenda as we are, it's just great to see him in general get a start. But this isn't, this is something he's earned over the last about year or so, has it not?
It is for sure. And Nolan Norris's progression through the FC Dallas ranks has maybe been a little bit slower than we imagined when we saw how much talent he had coming out of the academy. But that could be to his credit oftentimes. They waited for him. They don't want to throw him out there too early, especially for a defensive-minded player who's not overly athletic. You don't want to throw him in a spot where he might be up against the wall. But he's played very well this season when he's come in. Typically that's been at left back, and he had a great showing in the U20 World Cup for the U.S. men's national team. Now, that was also at left back, so this is a big call by Eric Quill to put him along that center back line as a left-sided center back. But look, Dallas needs it. Last time it was very clear that they needed a left-footed center back to help play those long balls out of the back. I think Vancouver did target that and funneled their press to make sure Dallas pushed that ball to the left side of their back line, knowing that none of those players who are right-footed could hit that left-footed ping across the field and hurt them over the top. That's exactly what Nolan Norris does best as a player, and I think he's going to play a big role tonight, helping Dallas build out of the back.
And it's not the first time Nolan has done it. It is with the first team, but he did it some amount with North Texas last year during their title run, and as well, he's probably in there because he's got that spirit that Eric Quill likes. I mean, I remember after the title game last year with North Texas, he said, I run around, I kick people, I score goals, I help my team win, and that's going to be what he has to do tonight.
Nolan Norris's mentality is second to none, I guarantee that.
Yeah, they're going to need that tonight because the Vancouver side that comes in is unchanged from last week in the starting 11. They do make one small change on the bench, but nothing of great significance. We saw the fully functioning Vancouver machine last week, and while we probably need about an hour to break down all of it and how you can beat it down, what's the one big thing Dallas is going to need to do tonight if they hope to force this to a Game 3?
I think they need to limit Sebastian Berhalter's influence on the game. Now, I would say limit Thomas Muller's influence on the game, but some of the best coaching minds in Europe have tried to do that for the last 15 years, and none of them were able to. So I'm going to go with maybe the slightly easier task of limiting Sebastian Berhalter, because last game he absolutely ran the show. He was on the ball constantly, and most importantly, he was hitting those long diagonals out to the wide players where they had overloads, whether it was Ali Ahmed, Emmanuel Sabi, or oftentimes Thomas Muller floating out wide. That killed Dallas. They need to make sure that they got a man on Sebastian Berhalter at all times to make sure he doesn't hit that pass more in Game 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to be tasked with stopping Thomas Muller because nobody else has quite figured it out just yet, but we will see how that goes. That is Garrett Meltzer, who you definitely cannot stop. You will see him on coverage all throughout the night on FCDallas.com, on social channels at Garrett Meltzer, and of course, we will hear from him at times throughout the broadcast as he'll be down on the field giving us all the sights and the sounds of tonight's huge and probably final home game of 2025. Garrett, thank you so much. Please enjoy your game and stay warm tonight. It's actually very cool out there.
I'll do my best. Thanks for having me, Sam.
You're welcome. When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, we'll bring you the sounds of tonight's match. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
What'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's children's health. Incredible together.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Logan Farrington, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Winner, winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date. Location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show as we're getting you ready for FC Dallas versus the Vancouver Whitecaps in playoff action tonight, presented by Toyota. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, the voices of tonight's playoff match, will join me. We'll break down the lineups, the tactics, the storylines, everything you need to know about tonight's huge matchup here at Fortress Frisco. But while I have a moment, I want to tell everybody about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed, which is available wherever you get free, wonderful podcasts about FC Dallas, which is everywhere in this case. Of course, the signature postgame show has been there now for going on 4 seasons. Stats, analysis, highlights, everything you need about the game that was in or around 30 minutes. If it's a big win or a big loss, we may go a little bit longer. But it's the most comprehensive look back at the game that was. We go live on the network after the final whistle, and the podcast goes up shortly after we conclude live. But we added in this year the FC Dallas Agenda, which you can hear pretty much every Wednesday on the feed. It's Ryan, it's Steve, it's Garrett, giving you long-form thoughts, analysis of the game that was, the game that will be, and, of course, great interviews with newsmakers, people in the media for FC Dallas, getting you all the information you need. For example, just this past week, Michael Collodi, after a 7-save outing, joined the show from Game 1. We also heard from Vancouver Whitecaps play-by-play man Asa Raymond, who gave us a very good preview about what would come for tonight's Game 2. So if you want to go back and listen to that or any of those fine FC Dallas Agenda episodes, what do you need to do? Go to your podcast provider of choice, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts. Type in FC Dallas Radio Network and then hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great free content. Now let's get you to the sounds of tonight's match, which this evening are from FC Dallas manager Eric Quill, defender Shaq Moore, and Vancouver Whitecaps manager Jesper Sorensen.
Not give them so much time and space. I mean, we need to get in their faces faster, and we want to turn them over faster and not let them get heads up to be able to hit big diags into us and be calm to make decisions. So we got to get to them faster than we did the other night, and that's what we're going to do. I mean, it means everything. This is what you strive through the regular season to try to give yourself the opportunity for. Our fans deserve this opportunity, and we expect them to be there and give us that energy we need to even the series back and give us a third game that we want to go for.
Yeah, we're just trying to, let them know what a playoff game is like. Obviously the intensity is a little bit higher. Some things you can talk about, but you have to experience it for yourself. So I think we're definitely a good learning experience for everyone. Obviously, we know now I got back against the wall, so we have to, get a result. But I think it definitely was a good experience for us, and I think it'll help us win this next game. We just want to make it a little bit more uncomfortable for them. I think we gave them a lot of time and space last game, so we just want to get into the body, maybe be a little bit more physical with them. Let's make it harder on them as a whole. If you give good players time to think and play, they're going to hurt us. So I think that first and foremost is up the intensity, and I think we'll be all right. Yeah, it means everything. They've been supporting us all year in the good times and the bad times. So to give them a playoff game, I think it's going to be huge. We expect them to cheer for us and give us that extra push that we need to hopefully extend the series.
I don't think that it's going to be easy because every game is special and every game is different. Of course, they probably will look at the game we just played and maybe change a few things. We don't know about that. We also have looked at this game and will maybe also change a couple of things. But we played well the other day, and we'll try to see if we can keep that kind of performance going, because that's how we have to perform in the playoffs here, and then hopefully it will be enough come Saturday.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me to break down tonight's match. This is FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas. where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Leggett, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota. We've got just over 20 minutes until kickoff here at Toyota Stadium, so let's bring it ahead and bring you tonight's starting lineups, which this evening are brought to you by Advocare. Let's start first with the visiting Vancouver Whitecaps and first-year manager Jesper Sorensen. It's Yohei Takaoka in net for the Caps, Ediero Campa, Ralph Priso, Bilal Halbouni, and Tate Johnson on the back line. Andres Kubas and Sebastian Berhalter in the midfield. Emmanuel Sabe, Thomas Muller, and Ali Ahmed supporting Daniel Rios up top. That sounds familiar. It's the exact same lineup from Game 1. Now let's bring you the starting lineup for FC Dallas and first-year manager Eric Quill.
Michael Collodi, goalkeeper, Frisco, Texas.
Sebastian Ibiaga, center back, Duke University.
Osaze Origide, center back, Netherlands, Nijmegen.
Nolan Norris, midfielder, Fort Worth, Texas.
Shaq Moore, right back, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Ramiro Benetti, midfielder, Brazil.
Kaique, midfield, Brazil.
Bernard Camungo, I'm a winger, and I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Christian Kappas, midfielder, Houston, Texas.
Logan Farrington, striker, Racine, Wisconsin.
Petar Musa, forward, from Zagreb, Croatia.
Subs tonight for Dallas: Martin Paz, Lalo Abubakar, Patrickson, Sebastian Leggett, Anderson Julio, Paxton Pomacall, Pedrinho, Josh Torquato, and Sam Sarver. And now we bring in the commentary team for tonight's playoff matchup. It's Ryan Figert, it's Steve Davis. And Ryan, we got to set the scene first. Tonight, if Dallas wins, they earn the chance for a Game 3 in Vancouver next Friday. If Vancouver wins, it's all over tonight. These are the moments that if you're a fan, you're a player, these are the ones you dream about because these are the biggest stages you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really exciting night tonight at Toyota Stadium. Anytime you get a chance to play an MLS Cup playoff game at home in front of your fans, that's what you work for all season long, as you said. So really excited to see what Dallas has in response to what was a really discouraging defeat last week. I mean, you went up there and for the first time in club history had 0 shots over the course of an entire game. And ultimately, Vancouver is favorites in this series for a reason. They're one of the best teams, if not the best, in all of Major League Soccer. But in front of the home fans tonight, Dallas needs to show they've got some fight in them. They have the ability to make the adjustments and get themselves back in the series.
And, you know, Steve, we'll talk about those adjustments in a minute. But obviously, Dallas's home form should give fans a lot to hope for, not just in the regular season where they only, didn't win once down the stretch, but also 2022, they won their only home game against Minnesota in penalty kicks. 2023, they beat Seattle en route to a Game 3 that they would end up losing. Dallas, in these moments, as of late and even recent history, has been quite good.
Yeah, it's not just Dallas. Throughout the playoffs, at least until today, it's been the home teams that have been winning these. And Dallas, as you said, has been good in playoff games. I mean, I'm thinking about Walker Zimmerman standing over a penalty kick with the pose as they knocked Seattle out. I'm thinking about another penalty kick win against Minnesota with Mark Followell yelling, Paz saves it. So they've been good at home. They need to be good tonight because you guys just outlined that this Vancouver team is very good. They were an absolute machine last week. Dallas has to bring it tonight, and they've got the home fans behind them to do it.
And Eric Quill has not taken this lightly as he's made some changes to the lineup tonight. The big one, Ryan, it is indeed the perfect Parrington back up top. Pedro Musa, Logan Farrington, after Logan came off the bench last week. And there's two sides of this to discuss, but one, after what we saw last week where Eric went with a more speedy, trying to get the wings advantage, he's brought back the two big strikers. How do you think that's going to play against Vancouver tonight?
Well, I think it was interesting because during the week, Eric Quill, speaking to the media, said he wasn't happy with Moose's performance up against Priso. He wanted him to have the mentality that this was a guy that was, low down the depth chart for Vancouver. He wanted to be a killer, and he didn't get the opportunity. And then when he did get opportunities on the ball, he wasn't sharp. Now up there alongside Logan, I think there's a certain level of comfort in the partnership between those two, and they've got two big bodies where they can go up against these reserve center backs for Vancouver and try and expose that weakness. Really, when you look at the 11 tonight, no Tristan Blackman still holding out, looking to get back from injury, maybe for a potential Game 3. This is the one weakness in the box defending for Vancouver, the center backs. Can they get the two strikers bodied up, use that advantage, and create chances for them? That's the big key.
On the other end, Steve, obviously this is going to be the first time this series, and even going back to the decision day because Musa and Farrington were both suspended, that Vancouver's going to see that pair at full strength. How are they going to be able to maybe try and take advantage of that as well?
Well, Ryan just said, these are reserve center backs. We thought they might even bring Matias Laborda back in. He had been holding steady at center back before he got ejected in the last regular season game against Dallas. Couldn't play last week. I tell you what, though, Sam, for me, it's really just mentality, and it has to be these two guys that lead the way because they're the big guys. They're the goal scorers up front. They are quite literally the big guys. And, last week in Vancouver, it was just the moment was too big for some of the players. Some of the players, it wasn't the moment that was too big. Maybe they just weren't used to MLS playoff intensity. Just across the board, they weren't competitive individually, I thought. And Eric said it himself. He said he didn't recognize who we were out there. He said, that winner go-home mentality they had sort of had disappeared. So it's got to be those two that lead the way to getting that back, because I think those are the people that the whole team and everybody in the Toyota Stadium tonight is going to be looking to score the goals, so they've got to lead the way in getting that mentality back.
I think it's funny talking about the do or die, back against the wall mentality, because Dallas has 2 losses since July 25th, and both of them were the moments when they didn't absolutely have to win. You think about the Galaxy in the second game, or the penultimate game of the regular season. It was starting to look like Dallas was in a comfortable position. Obviously, the red card played a lot into that, but they took their foot off the gas, didn't get the win in that one. And then going into a best-of-3 series, it's not an elimination game. They go up there and they take the loss in resounding fashion. So 2 games over the past 12 that they haven't absolutely had to get a result, and they failed to do so. Can they switch back on and get that do-or-die mentality back tonight?
Well, Moose and Farrington have a new friend up top tonight. No Patrickson in the starting 11. He is cleared to be on the bench, so he might get some minutes tonight. But, Steve, is Christian Kappas playing that more advanced midfield spot? And when we asked Eric Quill about that yesterday, he said, hey, Kappas played some 10 for me when we were both together down in Houston. He has, of course, complete faith in him, as we've heard all throughout since he came to MLS. And I'm curious, what do you think that looks like with Kappas taking on that almost Patrickson-like role?
Yeah, it's interesting because he's a very intelligent midfielder, but he does tend to play pretty safe. He plays efficiently, but that's not really what you want your creator to do. I also think that he's not going to forget that a big part of his job is to help keep Kupas and Berhalter from running the show, but that means you're sort of a little bit more defensive in your mindset. As far as him playing before with Eric Quill, I know Eric Quill trusts him, but I think trust can be a funny thing, because I would certainly trust Kappas in the midfield role that we've seen him, but to say that, I've seen him play 10 for me before, that was at the academy level. Mm-hmm. That was not at MLS level, and it was not against a team humming as well as Vancouver is right now. So we'll see how it works out.
But I think the one thing about adding him into, or pushing him further up the field, adding Ramiro into midfield, is that you at least have that 3-on-3 matchup in there, which is where Dallas really got outnumbered in Vancouver a week ago. Andres Kubas, the designated player, number 6 for Vancouver, just runs the game whenever he's allowed to. And so getting Kappas, who has the mindset for the game, the ability to be defensively sound, even if he's playing a little bit further forward, you can also think of it against the ball as well. He's going to be matched up with Kubas, and that could nullify some of what he can create in the middle.
Yeah, Kubas 89% on his passing last week. Berhalter 99 touches. We see anything close to those numbers tonight, Dallas is going to really struggle.
And, one of the knock-on effects of moving Kappas, that means Ramiro comes in to play next to Kaike. And then, Ryan, that means we get Shaq Moore back at right wing back. And we saw last week how much Ali Ahmed and Emmanuel Sabe gave this team fits just in general, specifically Sabe, who just ran all over it. Eric Quill told us yesterday he thought that was the best player for Vancouver in Game 1 last week. But now you've got a little bit more speed out there with Shaq, and you've obviously got Bernie, who's been good this year. But they've got a big task today to contain Sabe and Ahmed.
Yeah, and honestly, they don't really get 1v1 with the wingers very often, despite them being the ones with speed across that back line. It's going to mostly be Ibiaga in the right channel, Nolan Norris in the left channel. And for, as much as we're excited to see Nolan getting the start, that is a big matchup in this game. Can he curtail Sabe just a little bit on that side? At least hold him up to the point where Bernie can get back in support, or Osaze can get over in support from the inside, or one of the midfielders can help out as well. Because we saw last week, doesn't matter if it's Osaze or Gide, doesn't matter if it's Lalas Abubakar, doesn't matter who it is on this Dallas team, one-on-one with Emmanuel Sabe is a bad recipe. And so they don't want to leave Nolan Norris on an island out there with one of the most dangerous wingers in these entire playoffs.
Yeah, the problem is if the wingbacks will definitely, as Dallas gets set defensively, have to deal with those wingers for Vancouver. But if the wingbacks are pinned back there dealing with them all the time, you're right, Ryan. I mean, I don't want to see either left or right center back always dealing with that winger out in space. But if the wingbacks get pinned back and it's five defenders against a front line of three, they're not going to be able to get the ball enough and get into the Vancouver end, and it'll look too much like last week, I think.
Yeah, but the other side of the coin of what Norris can give you in possession, I think, is huge as well for Dallas to get a little bit more possession, be more composed at the back, because Quill said it best, we couldn't even keep teams honest when we went to our left side, and that meant essentially whether it was Abubakar or Ibiaga, whoever was playing as the left, Shaq Moore as well, not a left-footed player, not comfortable playing those passing angles on the left foot, so a lot of times they had to turn and pass back the other way. Now Vancouver can craft their entire game plan around taking away the right side. With Norris in there, he's got more of a passing range. He has composure on the ball. And that could be a big change in how Vancouver will have to adjust on the fly to Dallas actually being able to go out the left side and create the width with Norris and Kamungo.
And it's something to note because we saw last week, Steve, where Dallas was trying to do a little bit more of a build out of the back style at times. They weren't being as hyper direct as they have been with Nolan in there as well. Do you think, in addition to obviously the defensive challenges, they're going to be able to maybe execute that plan a little bit better on offense?
Sam, I honestly don't think Dallas was trying to build out of the back. I think they were just struggling so much with Vancouver's press and counter press, and Vancouver just had the angles covered, and Kubas and Berhalter were very good in the midfield. So I think they're going to try to go direct again, but they were trying to go direct last week. They were just trying to go direct into the wings a little bit more, whereas I think tonight it's going to be a little bit more direct into the central areas and let Farrington and Musa work off of each other.
Well, obviously, we saw a masterclass last week in what Vancouver wants to do. And, Ryan, one of the specific things that really gave Dallas trouble was that counter press. And we saw them Dallas get overrun in midfield a decent amount. Berhalter, Kubas, and company really just had Dallas in fits. As we look at what they're trying to do tonight and they get a win, but both with this lineup and just philosophically, how can they try and work against that Vancouver counter press?
I think the lineup gives them a better chance. Having that extra midfielder fighting for second balls off of the two forwards is huge. But also, you've got really good midfield depth on the bench, so the midfielders have to absolutely leave everything on the field, play 60 minutes at 100%, 110%, and then come off for Paxton Pomykal, Sebastian Lletget, who can come in and control the game in the middle. So they've got depth on the bench. Patrickson as well available in those positions. I want to see the midfielders all over the field completely empty the tank and use that depth in the second half.
Yeah, Patrickson's availability is big because it does give you somebody creative off the bench, and as well Pedrinho could come in if Dallas can establish enough possession. Last week, Pedrinho really couldn't give them anything because Dallas really needs possession for him to be an effective factor.
Yeah, Dallas's possession numbers last week couldn't even rent a car. They were so low. That was not where they wanted to be. And as we kind of look, Ryan brings up the bench tonight. Obviously, Dallas has a relatively strong bench. You've got Patterson, Sebastian Lletget, Anderson Julio, Paxton, Pedrinho, even Sam Sarver. This is a pretty weaponized bench, and obviously, with this being your season on the line, do you expect Eric Quill to be, Steve, a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the bench, or do you think that's going to depend on game flow?
Well, of course, it'll depend on game state, but hey, man, you better be aggressive tonight. I mean, it is, as you said, it is win or go home. Me and Sam have the running joke about, must-win situations, and I always say, it's not really must-win, but Sam, tonight, it is 100% absolutely, quite literally must win. So you got to be aggressive. And, we know that Lletget can give you some possession, some experience. We know that, Anderson Julio can give you speed. If Vancouver's line gets a little high, he can get it behind to Paxton. he gives you that guile and also some experience. So they do have good options on the bench tonight, and he's got to be aggressive about using them if they get behind or if they need to get that go-ahead goal.
Yeah, he said as much. He said, if I see one guy out there, even in the first half, without the mentality for the game, then I'm going to go to the bench early and use those subs to bring the level up, because there's no room for error at this point. Nobody can be out there with a deer in headlights. Back at home, hopefully there's a little bit more comfort than there was in front of 35,000 waving their flags last week at BC Place. But if they're not up to the task, Eric Will is going to turn to the bench quickly.
Well, the big factor, we spent about 20 minutes in this segment. Oh, by the way, we haven't talked about Thomas Muller yet for Vancouver Whitecaps. This, Ryan, feels like a moment where, you have to account for him for every game, but in a potential advancing game, we're on the road. A guy like him just brings such an advantage for Vancouver. How can Dallas try and slow him down tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about it from a big picture standpoint for Vancouver, I love that they had such a successful first half of the season, historic season, went on a run to the Champions Cup final. We're in great position in the league and the Canadian Championship, and they said, you know what, we're not just going to rest with the squad that we have. We're going to go out and get the biggest name player in club history in Thomas Muller, and he's elevated everything that they've done. He's helped them sort of stave off some of those concerns and difficulties that teams have had with fixture congestion over the years. He's brought the energy back up to the level that's required to be, a real competitor for MLS Cup. And this is all without Brian White and Tristan Blackman, who are both all-stars national team players. So the fact that he's been able to come in and step in when White's missed time and just really remake this team on the fly, it's been a seamless transition, and he ran the game in game one. Dallas absolutely has to find a way to limit his touches here in game two, or it's going to be more of the same.
Also without Ryan Gauld, who is back with the team now, but has been playing very limited minutes. Who knows how much we'll see him tonight. But I think that's also another reason why they went and got Thomas Muller, because Ryan Gauld, their creator, their playmaker, sort of the heart of their team, wasn't available for most of the season.
And we've also seen in MLS where you really can't have enough roster depth. You can't really have enough talent. That's just not really a thing, especially with the way that the league is scrappy. One more note on Muller. We heard Quill talk about it before game one, that it was almost a situation of, hey, we know Muller's going to get his. It's about shutting down everyone else. That didn't quite work out last week. As we come into game two, Steve, do you think that's still a viable strategy, or do you think you need to adjust the thinking on that?
No, you still got to try to account for him. You got to try to close off the passing lanes to him, get a player close to him. But look, it's difficult because he's so clever. He's so intelligent about finding the spaces, about understanding the timing. He doesn't jump into those spaces too early to where you can go out and get a guy close to him. He waits, then he pounces, then he's in the space, and you're chasing the game from there.
Yeah, I think if Dallas is going to find a way to limit Muller, it's going to come through Ramiro tonight. His experience, he's played against top-level players throughout his career in Brazil. Maybe nothing of the ilk of Thomas Muller in terms of how he plays the number 10 position, but in there alongside Kaique, who's an inexperienced, young midfielder with a lot of legs, a lot of stamina, a lot of energy. It's going to be up to Ramiro to direct traffic and make sure they always know where Thomas Muller is.
Well, you can hear the crowd getting hype here at Toyota Stadium ahead of the players.
Waving those towels, man. Look at that.
Yeah, they say this, defend our house. Or maybe they're just excited for tonight's keys to the match, which are presented by Toyota, and they're also presented by Steve Davis.
I certainly am.
Nobody gets that excited about keys to Farrington. That's the way. You got to find them early. You got to find them through direct play. You got to find them through service from the wings. FC Dallas absolutely has to test Vancouver's backup center backs more than they did in game one. Number two, Sam, got to win those second balls. Ryan told you about it a minute ago. It's so important in the midfield, really all over the field, but really in the midfield. From an individual standpoint, to me, probably the biggest disappointment from game one. There's some tactical nuance in there about getting outnumbered, but a lot of it is just desire, getting to that spot. So generally, you got to make it more of a scrap, and specifically, got to win those second balls. And number three, Sam, it's just bravery and grit. Collectively, the team just didn't look up for the moment last week. Tonight, it's about restoration of that fight, that fortitude that got the season turned around. Tonight, the 11 starters and anyone off the bench, they got to play with that chip on the shoulder. Got to be brave, got to be warriors. That is the best chance to get this to game three, and those are your keys, presented by Toyota.
Thank you, Steve Davis. The teams are out on the field. FC Dallas in their red and blue kits with blue shorts, led by their captain, Ramiro. Meanwhile, Vancouver is in their white kits with white shorts, led by their captain, Thomas Muller. That's going to do it for tonight's playoff pregame show. Before we head to a break and get you ready for kickoff here from Toyota Stadium, let's go to FC Dallas PA announcer, Chris Bukimbuso.
70 through 75. In Vietnam, he flew over 90 missions, coordinating airstrikes between fighter aircraft and ground personnel. For this service, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross and other medals. After Vietnam, he flew the KC-135, refueling spy aircraft that were tracking Russian missiles splashing into the Pacific Ocean. Sam is joined on the field with his family, and he and his wife Tommy have been season ticket holders for over 25 years. Thank you, Captain Moon, for your service to our country. Fans, please rise if you are able and remove your hats for the Canadian National Anthem, followed by the National Anthem of the United States, performed tonight by Michael Bortz.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Ibiaga. Tonight's FC Dallas match is up next, right here on the FC Dallas app.
We welcome you into Toyota Stadium tonight as the MLS Cup Playoffs arrive in Frisco for FC Dallas. Eric Quill has led this team from dead and buried in July to Cloud 9 on decision day. All of that over the course of just a few months. But he and the team were ripped right back down to earth last week with a comprehensive defeat in Game 1 of this series with the Whitecaps. They're back in a very familiar position tonight. Their backs are against the wall. It's Musa and Muller. It's Dallas and Vancouver. It's playoff action tonight at Toyota Stadium. And we thank you for joining us wherever you're listening across the FC Dallas radio network. Ryan Figert here alongside the very one and only Steve Davis. Steve, first of all, as we do around playoff time, happy early birthday to you.
I appreciate that, my man, but no birthday talk here, just a lot of good playoff soccer.
Well, a lot to be excited about. The fans are certainly behind this team. We saw the rally towels being waved as the players walked out for the national anthems. Dallas looks like they're going to attack from left to right here in the first half. Vancouver in the all-white will go from right to left. It's always a different buzz in the stadium when the playoff season comes around. And, you know, for a team that missed out on the playoffs completely last year and, as I said, looked dead and buried in July, just the fact that we get to be here and experience this game tonight brings a lot of excitement.
Man, it feels like playoff soccer weather out there. I was just watching Michael Collodi a minute ago, and I feel like the weather was just about like this as we saw Michael Collodi win a championship here in this building last year for North Texas. So, man, it does feel like playoff soccer here.
Logan Farrington takes the ball from tonight's official, Tori Pinso. She'll be in the middle and making her 58th appearance as a center official in Major League Soccer. Dallas has never won in 5 tries with Tori Pinso in charge. They'll try to do so tonight for the very first time. Looks like it'll be Dallas to take the kickoff as Vancouver breaks their huddle, looking to avoid a Game 3. Dallas looking to extend the series and make a 3rd trip to BC Place in the matter of a month for next Friday's potential Game 3.
Word is definitely out that Dallas likes to attack that end where the supporters can be heard a little more, and so Dallas needs to find somebody that's a little bit better than a coin toss, I think, because it feels like they've had to do this a lot this year.
Well, if this game goes through the 90 minutes tied, it'll go to the coin toss of penalty kicks. Dallas hopes to get off on a strong foot here and win it in regulation, force that Game 3. It's El Matador, the Dallas Beer Guardians, and everyone in the supporter section making the noise down to our right in the Rhine as the crowd sings deep in the heart of Texas to get things ready for playoff action tonight at Toyota Stadium. It's the 3rd playoff game of the night across the league. The away teams have started popping up with some wins. Vancouver will hope to keep that trend going. Dallas look to hold home field advantage as they await the whistle to get things going. Logan Farrington drops it back to Michael Collodi. We are underway in Game 2. Collodi launches it long, targeting Petar Musa, looking for a get-right game, as is the entire Dallas 11. Looking for his first career playoff goal tonight, Petar Musa. Ramiro across the top of the box. Bernie Kamungo flicks it along, looking for Farrington. Challenge for it inside the area. Flag stays down. Thought it might go up, but the ball's still bouncing. Here's Kappas, shot on the turn, blocked by Halbuni. Musa looking to settle it, but it's Ahmed who sends it high into the night sky. Dallas with an aggressive start. Back to Musa from Ibiaga. He's unable to keep it. Rios holding off Ibiaga. Now Ahmed on a sprint up the left side. Holds off the attentions of 3 Dallas players. And Muller just took a whack off the ball from Uriguide. He's slow to get up as Vancouver switches the point of attack here.
I think he took that from Kaike. I think he tried to sort of get in Kaike's way as Kaike wanted to challenge him, but Kaike just ran through him.
Dallas regains possession on the far side. Some contact there, but referee waves play on. Kappas direct, looking for Musa, but it breaks for Shaq Moore on the switch. Crowd to their feet here as Moore's the attacking third. Low ball sent in. Farrington tripped up on top of the box. I don't think the referee had a good view of it, but it'll be a Dallas corner. Oh no, she's gone back and given the free kick here inside the D. Prime shooting position for the foul against Habuni.
You know, I was watching Tori Pinso, and she was taking that diagonal sprint over, and I think the action would happen sort of over her left shoulder. I don't think she saw it. I wonder if she got a little shout from the referee's assistant on that side, who did have a good view of it. But it's absolutely Farrington getting tripped up in there. And hey, you know what? We are not even 120 seconds into this game, and Dallas has already made the back line for Vancouver worry more than.
Well, they've had a shot. They've had a shot in the game. That's something they've failed to do.
That one or not, but
it was
an effort toward goal.
And Kappas is one to stand over this. Petar Musa as well. This one right from outside the arc on top of the box. Prime shooting position for a right-footed player. Petar Musa, I mentioned, looking for his first career goal in the MLS Cup Playoffs. The big number 9, brought in for the big moments. Eyes up this free kick. Takaoka, the MLS All-Star in net for Vancouver, sets a 5-man wall. Berhalter lays beneath it as well so that they can jump without fear of it rolling underneath their feet. And for Musa, who didn't have a sight of goal in Game 1, had to sit and watch on decision day. First chance in a while for him to make his mark. Corey Pinso satisfied with the positioning of the wall. And Petar Musa now sizes up the free kick. It's Musa on the approach through the wall. Takaoka palms it away. Ibiaga back in towards the keeper, who comes out and makes a claim through traffic. So there's a shot on target. Another thing they failed to do last week, and the start much more encouraging.
Unlucky there for Ibiaga because that ball bounced right to him off Takaoka, but it got to him very quickly. He had no real chance to hit that get any kind of accuracy on that.
There was a moment there, Kaike just caught Johnson, and even Petar Musa thought it was a foul, but we play on, and Takaoka puts the ball out for a Dallas throw, and the energy is palpable here. Vancouver on the back foot to start. And the referee letting a lot of contact go, which you got to think plays into Dallas's hands here.
It does, as long as they can get close enough. The other day, you know, they were just chasing shadows, so got to get close to him to make that contact count.
First time ball from Collodi towards Farrington, unable to win it. Fighting for the second ball, it's Berhalter away. And last touch off Ali Ahmed. He's going out for a throw. Shaq Moore tried to keep it in play, and his pass is picked up by Yohei Takaoka.
And you're right about the contact. We've seen it throughout the MLS playoffs. It looks like the referees are letting a little bit more go, trying to, you know, encourage a little bit more of a physical game. Same thing here with Pinso.
Rios picks up the second ball after Ibiaga won the header. Now wide for Ali Ahmed. 1v1 here with Ibiaga. Thomas Muller, corner of the 18. Chased back for Tate Johnson. Kubas to Ahmed, now Berhalter middle of the field. Harassed there by Kappas. Vancouver keeps it moving. Halbuni, good first time ball out to Sabi. First chance for him to get involved. Norris out to close him down. Left-footed cross is blocked and he'll be behind for a corner.
Well, Dallas definitely has more energy, looking more like the home team. They got Jesper Sorensen down there, the Vancouver coach, complaining about contact. So better mentality already. It's 100% evident.
Dallas had their chance from the corner. Now it's Vancouver. It'll be from the far side. Berhalter, the set piece specialist, making that same signal as last week, the O shape over his head. Ready's the out swinging service. Berhalter in towards the penalty spot. Header won by Shaq Moore, up in the air. Kaike gets a piece of the second ball. Now he'll lead the charge going the other way. Out to Osaze Urigide, who's deputizing as a right winger there, trying to lead the counterattack, and fire put out by Kubas, out for a throw.
Took a little bit of a heavy touch there. That's a defender's touch there as he got into the attacking zone.
Shaq Moore takes the throw back to Osaze. In the midfield for Ramiro. Crisp one-touch passing. Now down the line for Petar Musa, who's kept himself on side. Farrington waits in the middle. Low ball sent in. Cleared away by Ocampo. Out for a throw here on the near side.
Absolutely the start FC Dallas needed tonight.
Now just need to find the go-ahead goal to make it count. Vancouver unbeaten in 19 games this season when scoring first. Here's Musa looking to do that. The header in towards the near post is just off target.
Now you're right, they counted that early Kappas effort as a shot, so that's 3 shots now, including 1 on target. How about that? 90 minutes last week, no shots. 7 minutes this week, 3.
Well, Eric Quill told us that he really thought about how much of the tape to show the team after that game, because it was such just a comprehensive defeat and really nothing that they tried to execute. None of the game plan implemented last week. That was the frustrating part for Quill. But he showed them, he said they took accountability. They were embarrassed by what they saw on the tape, and now they've come out with energy and hope to bring the goals to match. Long ball bouncing through the middle for Takaoka to receive. Interesting, Sebastian Lletget has been sent to go warm up, meaning maybe one of the Dallas midfield players dealing with a knock. Don't usually see the substitutes go out to get warmed up within the opening 10 minutes, unless there's some kind of issue. Here's a ball over the top. Norris dragged to the ground by Sabi, but fortunately Urigide is well positioned. But now the throw taken quickly down the line for Sabi again. Urigide wins the tackle, hoping to shield him off, and does so. Now finds Norris, who will lift it down the line towards Kamungo. Pressure stays on as Kamungo couldn't corral it. Fortunate bounce out to Christian Kappas. And then he puts Kaique in a bad spot there. Given away to the Whitecaps here, 35 yards from goal. And Thomas Muller, using all of his experience, able to turn Kaique and win a free kick.
So Dallas is playing as they defend. They defended a 5-4-1, or rather, a 5-4-1. Kappas sort of drops back in on one side. Try to take it more central positions as they get possession.
Yohei Takaoka coming across for a conversation with the Vancouver bench. Not sure what that would be about. This free kick is going to come from 30 yards dead center. Some assistance from the residual football lines to know exactly where this one's coming. Dallas sets a 4-player wall, very tall one. Kappas, Musa, Ibiaga, and Uragide. And it's Ali Ahmed to stand over the free kick. No goals on the season for the Canadian international. And he rolls it out towards Berhalter on the right. Whipped in, Norris there, repels it with the left foot. Out to Ramiro, who heads it further clear. When you saw Ahmed standing over it, I think I sort of predicted something was up there, and they did try and find Berhalter, the usual set-piece maestro. Here's a ball over the top, and the first touch for Michael Collodi.
You can always trust Collodi to have that aggressive starting position and aggressive mindset. He's going to come out and gobble those up. Got that one about 16 yards off the end line.
Dallas moving it across the back line. Uragide into midfield for Ramiro. Back to Norris. And Ramiro, a lot of space for him to get turned and find the feet of Logan Farrington, looking to turn in the middle. And he's won a free kick from Andres Kubas. And the referee not happy with Kubas. Maybe something he said after the foul. She's going to have another quick word with him.
I always think Tori Penso does a good job of managing the players, and she's got the right balance of, just letting them have a little bit of their say, and then having her say when she needs to.
Farrington up to his feet. Slight limp away from the contact as Uragide gets the ball back rolling out to Ibiaga. Over the top, looking for Musa. Priso steps in the way. Johnson into the feet of Muller. First time ball finds Rio. Sliding tackle from Uragide. Not a good one. And the card quickly out of the pocket of Tori Penso. Yellow card to Osaze, who's convinced he got enough of the ball there. It's not how I saw it. The referee was very well positioned. Yeah, no touch on the ball.
Yeah, he was pretty late. Got up on top of Rios' ankle as well.
The physical start to the game continues. It's Uragide who's first into the book, and got to toe that line, particularly in the playoff games. You can't afford to go down to 10 men. We saw what an effect that can have over the recent weeks when Dallas won at Vancouver and lost at the Galaxy.
And Tori Penso had them hold play just for a second there to give it a quick check. I don't think that was ever going to be a red, but yikes.
Berhalter into Priso, splits the two Dallas forwards and goes on a dribble out from center back, showing his natural range as a usual midfield option. Now Berhalter, diagonal ball in behind Uragide, breaks for Rios, back heel towards Thomas Muller. Kappas defending, Muller goes down, we play on. Now Campos shot from the right side, rolls through, and without a touch goes behind for a goal kick.
So the question is, Ryan, in the 12th minute, can Dallas sustain this level of energy, this intensity? And they need to.
We'll get ready, North Texas. The world's biggest tournament is coming, and FC Dallas is bringing it home with the Club and Country package. For just $35, you can score a custom scarf repping FCD and your favorite World Cup national team, VIP access to the World Cup draw watch party, and so much more. To learn more, visit fcdallas.com/club-and-country. Collodi looking for Musa on the long ball. Ahmed wins the first header. Kaique picks up the second ball. Musa into Kappas. Set back for Ramiro. Keeps it moving to Nolan Norris in the center circle. Now wide for Kamungo. Musa checks short to come receive it. Kamungo looking for Ramiro just off the mark. Now Dallas, those numbers caught up at the field. Chance for Vancouver to break. Sabi checks back on halfway. And they quickly find Thomas Muller.
That wasn't the best ball for Bernie Kamungo to give it away.
And here's Thomas Muller. Dangerous position here between the lines. Closed down by Ramiro inside the area. Left-footed shot blocked. Out to Johnson again. Moore, wrong side of Johnson, who finds Ali Ahmed wide on the left.
That was a great example of how Thomas Muller just finds that left center half space. A little too much room for him there.
Campo put under pressure by Kappas. They're chased back into their own half here with Halbuni. Kubas had a whole lot more time across the 90 minutes last week than he has had so far tonight.
That extra man in midfield makes so much difference.
Berhalter lifting it out to Ocampo. Flag stays down for now. Big tackle from Norris. Pops it straight up in the air. And Collodi will make the catch. Rolls it out to Norris. They hope to use his passing range to good effect out of the back tonight. He goes long there looking for Kappas. Chested down by Halbuni. Fighting for the second ball. It's out for a Vancouver throw.
Yeah, the pass that Norris just made, he didn't have the accuracy on that one, but for a right footer, and they've been going with, right footers over there, Shaq Moore mostly lately, you just can't hit that pass on the outside. And so Nolan Norris, they hope to have that pass around the corner a little bit more on the left tonight.
Pass was too hot to handle there for Berhalter. He puts it out for a Dallas throw. Taken back towards Nolan Norris. Over to Uragide. He, like now 12 Dallas players, getting their first taste of the MLS Cup playoffs in this series. Collodi going long, looking for Farrington. Fight for the second ball here with Priso. Priso goes down. Farrington on it now on the top of the box. Farrington goes down inside the area. Referee has a look at it. The crowd has their say, but she waves play on. Shaq Moore along the right side. With 3 defenders around him, he goes down. And we continue here with no contact enough as Kaike goes flying in. Now Berhalter's unhappy with that tackle. Eric Quill up off the touchline in protest. It's always the risk you run with allowing more contact to go that it could quickly escalate in the moment's notice like it did there.
Well, escalate is a good word for it because that's exactly what happened. I do think that...
That's a foul on Logan Farrington. He's just cleaned him out.
Yeah, he's moving across. He's moving across Ralph Priso there, and Priso sort of, there is a collision. Then there's a little bit of a collision with Shaq Moore as he gets spun around, and Kaike just comes in. You know he's looking for his pound of flesh after all that.
I'll be shocked if there's not a review recommended for the contact on Logan Farrington inside the area. Farrington got wrong side of Ocampo, but it wasn't enough. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that decision.
I mean, what I would say, Ryan, is it looks like he does cut in front of Priso, who's sort of moving in that direction.
I think
or maybe was the contact maybe outside the penalty area? It was right on the line. Maybe that's what they thought as they looked at it again.
Either way, that feels like a bit of a tough break. 16 minutes in, as Farrington doing what they were unable to do last week, and that's take advantage of Priso and his unfamiliarity at the center back position and maybe just that lack of physicality he has as a smaller player in that role.
And I think Eric Quill even admitted, that maybe he got that one wrong. He thought they could attack the wings, but really the weakness for Vancouver right now is in those central areas with those reserve center backs. Talked about how their first top 4 choice center backs are out.
Tristan Blackman named MLS Defender of the Year during the week. Was not on the injury report, but I think if they can get through this series without using him, they would love to have him fresh and available in the next round.
Yeah, he's on the bench tonight.
Halbuni chased back here to Takaoka. Moves it across for Priso. Left-footed ball forward into the feet of Rios. That's a bad pass from Rios. Logan Farrington on it along the left side, looking for options in the middle. Musa not waiting in the box. It was just Kappas who made the run, so the cross fell for Priso again. Ali Ahmed went for the dummy, and Uragide came across to clean that one up. Showed some fancy footwork as well, now getting it back to Norris.
Speaking of cleaning up, I stand corrected. Ryan Figert reminds me that he's not on the bench. I swear I thought I saw his name on there.
Well, he was surprised. On the plane. I did see him on the plane thanks to Thomas Muller's Instagram. But we'll have a report from Garrett Meltzer on the sideline in just a moment at the next stoppage, as he hopes to bring us closer to the action tonight at Toyota Stadium. It's Vancouver in possession here approaching 18 minutes along their right side. Halbuni will go back to Takaoka, one of the best goalkeepers in the league with the ball at his feet. Fires it over to Priso, now into Rios. 1v1 with Urquide, who's the one player booked in this game. Urquide wins that physical battle, but Rios onto the second ball, keeps possession for the Caps. Rios got the opening and ultimately the winning goal last week. Caps losing out in possession on this near side. Dallas wins the throw, taken quickly for the run at Kappas. Gets in front of Halbuni, now shielding it towards the corner flag, shoving the back. Kappas maybe a little too honest there, stayed on his feet. Shaq Moore restores possession. Musa back to Kaique. Ramiro into Musa, corner of the 18, head up looking for Farrington. The pass hit Kappas, and he was unaware that it was heading his direction, so possession turns over. And Dallas nearly won it back again in the attacking third.
I tell you, two guys who look up for the fight tonight. Shaq Moore, I mean, he's been as physical as he could possibly be. Kaique as well. You worry a little bit about Kaique because he's young, and you know he might have a little too much fire in the belly. Shaq Moore, you trust him a little bit more to make it more of a controlled rage, but he's both those guys are definitely up for it tonight.
Takaoka with the punt out to Ali Ahmed. It's pinpoint right onto his foot. He's now 1v1 with Ibiaga, approaching the attacking third. Onto his right foot. Dummy from Muller, nearly breaks for Sabi. Fortunately, deflects into the path of Michael Collodi, who quickly fires it out towards Farrington. And Kamungo able to keep it in play with a nice touch. Looking for Kappas. Last touch out off Sebastian Berhalter, and the Caps know they are absolutely in for a fight tonight, for as much as they didn't really have to get out of third gear at home last week.
Second time Bernie from the wing has passed centrally and had it picked off. That time he got lucky, it went out for a throw-in, but he's got to be careful with the angles there.
Ramiro, nice ball into the feet of Musa. Set back for Kappas. Now Farrington attacking the left half space. Kamungo on the overlap. Musa in behind. Musa with the shot, saved by Takaoka. Bernie keeps it alive. The volley just off target. And the first real sight of goal, first shot on target for Petr Musa in the series.
And they haven't really attacked that left side a lot tonight. This one coming down the left center channel, but Petr Musa taking a little feed there. Nice little feed from Farrington. We know how good their relationship is on and off the field, and paid off there. Takaoka had to be quick off his line as Petr Musa just tried to toe poke it at about 12 yards.
He did have the shot on target from the free kick. So first look at goal in open play for Petr Musa, and maybe just 6 inches out of his reach to get much power behind the shot. But an encouraging sign, this Dallas pressure turning into attacking opportunities. Takaoka goes long. Norris wins the header. Kappas looking to keep it in play. Able to do so? No. Flag is up. And it'll be a Dallas throw. Last touch off of Thomas Muller.
At 20 minutes in, we've seen Kappas do his part in terms of keeping possession, in terms of comfortable place. Haven't really seen him start to unlock that defense in that creative role.
Shaq Moore lays it back for Ibiaga. Ibiaga over the top. Farrington was making the run. Ocampo volleys it high, not too far clear. It's a fight for it around the halfway line. Ramiro wins a header, then Kubas, now Kappas out to Kamungo. Kamungo, some green grass to run into as he drives forward on the Dallas left. Bernie Kamungo holding off Sabi. Whips the cross in, blocked behind, and a corner kick is on the way.
You feel like as Kamungo just held off the pressure and then saw the second man coming over, that you feel like all along what he wanted to do was get a corner kick out of that, and that's exactly what he did.
Dallas got a goal through Osaze Urquide on decision day against Vancouver from a corner kick. They've got plenty of targets to aim at with Farrington, Musa, Kappas, plus the center backs in there. Maybe the tallest lineup Dallas could realistically put out tonight. Whipped in towards the near post. Header won by Ali Ahmed. Set by Kaique at the top of the box. Left-footed shot is comfortably over the bar there.
And I think that's the youth right there, as Kaique is really has his body oriented toward that east side of the stadium over there, the close offside right now. A sidewinder volley from about 32 yards probably isn't going to get the job done.
Well, and we know shooting on his left foot isn't necessarily his biggest strength, but that's the only way he scored this season in MLS, a couple of times off the left, including in that same game on decision day. That one from much further away as Thomas Muller's left on the ground Nice move there from Shaq Moore on the dribble.
And so far, Muller's influence in this game has been minimal. Had that one opportunity when he found too much space on the left.
Oh, Collodi with a giveaway to Sabi, top of the box. Norris closes them down. Here's Emmanuel Sabi inside the area. Shot towards the back post is just off target. And Collodi immediately puts a hand up as he made a rare mistake there with the ball at his feet.
I think that's really the first time we've seen him make a mistake this year with the ball at his feet. He's trying to flash that ball out to Bernie Kamungo. It's about a 35-yard pass, and oh my heavens, he just didn't see Sabi, and Sabi carves out a little space there around Nolan Norris. Norris forces him into just a bad enough angle. That shot, he got a lot on it, just flashes wide at the far post.
Collodi can breathe a sigh of relief as he sends this ball down the field, unable to keep that one in play.
What you will say about Michael Collodi is knowing his personality a little bit, I don't think that will rattle him one bit. I think he'll be every bit as confident as he was before that.
Urquide wins the header off the Vancouver throw. Musa holding off Johnson, pokes it towards Kappas. Header there won by Berhalter. Acrobatics in midfield from Ramiro to win possession back. The bicycle kick attempt. And Ebiaga off the mark trying to find Musa's feet. So all that for naught. It's another Vancouver throw from the same spot.
All right, 25 minutes in, what we said Dallas absolutely had to do is just make this more of a fight, make it more of a scrap. Just a big old ballroom Donnybrook, and they have done that so far.
And there's Collodi with the confidence, lifting it over Sabi to find Bernie Kamungo in some space. Turns back and tried to find Norris, but Sabi poked it out for a throw.
Bernie's the one guy that doesn't look like right now he's quite up to the speed and the intensity of this game. The intensity maybe, but he's got to make decisions a little faster, and he's got to whiz those passes in there with a little bit more ambition, a little bit more authority.
There's another giveaway off the header. Fortunately, Berhalter turns it right back over Ramiro through the middle of the field. Petter Musa streaking in behind. Petter Musa onto the left side, pokes it past Takayuka! Musa's first goal in the MLS Cup Playoffs, and Dallas have life in the series.
Well, we said it had to be Petter Musa, Logan Farrington, the big dogs up front to lead the way as they got this team back into the mentality and the fight that they needed. That time it was Petter Musa. It's Ramiro who plays a brilliant through ball, and Musa perfectly takes the first touch and then positions himself in front of Ralph Priso, so that Priso has to make a decision. Priso just gets out of his way. One more touch. Musa's in behind the defense. Shot comes in about 10 yards. Takaoka comes out, makes it hard, but nice, clever little chip right over the goalkeeper. 1-0.
That is a trademark Petter Musa finish. It is a signature moment here in the playoffs. His first goal in the postseason. 19 now on the season as a whole. And Dallas with that all-important first goal. Vancouver has not lost a game when scoring first this season. And so now they'll have to come from behind. And Ramiro restored to his more comfortable position in midfield, immediately providing an impact there with the assist as well. And now what do the next 5 minutes look like? That's what coaches, that's what players will be saying. What's the response for Vancouver? Can Dallas keep the energy up?
We'll have Sam Hale over there keep an eye to see if they give Ramiro the assist. 3 or 4 touches, so I think they still will, but we'll see.
And Eric Quill talked about Petter Musa, and he was a little disappointed that he didn't go at Ralph Priso more in game 1. And he showed just the difference in abilities between he and Priso playing out of position at center back tonight on that play. Now Muller looking to do the same at the other end. Puts it through the legs of Osaze Urquide and then goes to ground. Osaze has been booked in this game.
Urquide's got to get out of there right now. He's arguing with Pinso, and you know, he's got to be smart here. I don't understand what he's doing. They're trying to pull him away, and he's already got the yellow card. There's no reason to antagonize Torrey Pinso here. Take the foul.
Well, We know Urguide very front-footed in his style, and he did get the arm up a little bit high on Thomas Muller there, but looks like he's going to escape.
But the other thing he did, I mean, he got nutmegged, and then as Muller tried to go around him, he clearly obstructed, and I don't think it's worth it. It's definitely not worth the second yellow card, but he just got to be careful there. It's definitely a foul, and you got to walk away from it.
There's many ways I would expect Thomas Muller to do well against Osaze Urguide, but a foot race there is not one of them. So I think he's just got to turn and run back and win the ball.
100%, because he's literally, 55 yards away from goal right there.
Rolls it into midfield for Ramiro. Ramiro trying to find Kaiki. Able to hold off Amba and puts it in behind for Bernie Kamungo. Another chance here. Kamungo! The flag goes up. They'll check this. Dallas maybe inches away from a second goal in quick succession.
I thought in real time he was offside, but they did the correct thing there. Keep the flag down, let the play go out. That's exactly why you do that.
Yeah, with the help of the lines on the field, it does look pretty clear.
Yeah, the football lines, they're faded, and you don't really like to see it, but they're faded enough, but they help in two ways in judging those offsides. And also, I've noticed that Torrey Pinso's had those walls twice exactly 10 yards away, but it's easy when you have the football hash marks out there to work with.
Well, Dallas, with all the momentum on their side at the moment, nearly capitalized for 2-0. Back to 1 as the goal's waved off. Good for Kamungo maybe to see the ball hit the net there. He's looking to make an impact here. In behind from Farrington. Bernie Kamungo, low cross sent in, repelled for a corner. As 2 Dallas players are down in the aftermath. Farrington really upset with the contact. We've seen him foul off the ball a couple times already tonight.
And he's making the case. He was outside the penalty area. I think Bernie Kamungo sort of lost his feet and tripped a little bit. He was inside the penalty area, but either way, it's going to be a corner kick. Maybe Kappas, he's got to put this one a little bit higher and clear that first man, which he didn't do last time from this side.
Kappas from the far side, out swinging service coming off his left foot. Lifts this one in towards Petter Musa. Header just off target, spinning away from goal. And now the shots are piling up.
I was just about to say, since I spent so much time last week sort of racking up, using the abacus to rack up the shots for Vancouver, I'll tell you right now, it's 8-3 in favor of Dallas.
Well, Toyota Stadium renovations are, of course, underway. You can check out the latest updates with the new construction cam. To see the updates in real time, head to newtoyotastadium.com for that and more. As Dallas with the press, high up the field, win it back. They've got to throw on the far side in attacking areas. Put back towards Logan Farrington, who's going to try and keep this in play. It's actually Kappas, who then loses his footing. And the referee comes across to have a look as both players have stayed down here. Kappas holding his face, Ocampo holding his right ankle. Well, and it was a play where Kappas was going to try and slide and keep the ball in play as it was heading out for a goal kick.
Well, Campo, is just trying to shield the ball, and Kappas definitely gets him a little bit. And then Ocampo comes across with the hands to the face. I mean, that's, I could see Kappas getting a yellow card, but honestly, what Ocampo does there, that's a red card.
Kappas has been booked. And so it'll be up to VAR for any judgment towards the Vancouver player.
And Pinso was there. I'm going to be surprised. I don't think Ocampo is going to get even a yellow out of this, which is a shame.
Another potential break that could have gone Dallas's way. So far, they've had to create their own luck, and they've done so to the tune of a 1-0 lead.
They're also really finding Bernie Kamungo a little bit more now on the left side. I mentioned it early on. They're giving this a quick look when that check's complete, but Bernie Kamungo, and you said it, even though it's offside, it's got to feel good for a forward, to see that ball hit the net.
And he's unable to win the header here, meaning Savi's on it in the attacking areas. Wide on the far side. Kamungo at full sprint to get back in. Savi towards the byline. Cutback ball is shot by Rios and spins out for a corner. Somebody got a piece of that on the Dallas side. And that front-footedness from Bernie Kamungo catching him out there as he had to get back in defensively. It'll be a Whitecaps corner from the far side. Berhalter, third chance at it tonight, all from the far end of the stadium. Whipped in this time towards the near post. Header won by Ramiro and away. Kamungo fighting to get on the loose ball. Ocampo volleys it back towards Johnson. And Johnson just sends it down the field. That one will head out of play for a Dallas throw.
Ryan, I think tactically, the most impressive thing for Dallas tonight is that Thomas Muller's been a non-factor.
Over half an hour, very limited touches, had a couple of nifty moments you'd expect, won a few fouls, but by and large, Dallas keeping the field tilted towards Takaoka's end.
I think by making the game more chaotic, by adding the extra man in midfield, they're just not allowing Berhalter and Kubas to find Muller in those good spots.
Moore launches it high and down the field. Johnson rises highest to head it out for a Dallas throw right in front of Eric Quill. He's looking for a real signature victory here in front of the home fans. He was the first to raise his hand in the first half of the season when they just couldn't get the home form right. They've closed the season much better here at Toyota Stadium, going unbeaten with 4 wins and a draw down the stretch. As Dallas resume play here, moving it across the back line, Norris sends it down the field for the run of Kappas. Halbuni heads it straight up in the air. Awkward one to deal with. Kappas fighting for the second ball. Shoulder to shoulder there between the two players. It's a Dallas throw, taken quickly to Farrington. Corner of the 18. Defenders both sides of him there. And the ball just poked away. Halbuni will dribble clear. Now Sabi loses out there to Norris, but the whistle goes for a foul against the Dallas homegrown. And not a foul you really mind taking, as it just stopped the counterattack without any further punishment.
Just something to watch here. Back behind the play, Petar Musa sort of stretching out the left hamstring.
Musa challenging for the ball there, unable to find a teammate as he tried to flick it on.
I think he also got a nice little shove in the back there.
And Ebiaga, the latest to leave a Vancouver Whitecaps player on the ground, but Ahmed's found some space here along the left side. Ahmed's cross blocked by Urguide as Muller picks himself up.
Well, the player he left on the ground is Thomas Muller, and Ebiaga just got a yellow card for that.
Yeah, he was too apologetic, to be honest. He tried to go and apologize and pick him up and admitted guilt. So now 3 Dallas players have gone in the book.
And look, I mean, you know, Tori Pinto, I like her as a referee, but she's let a lot go. And now the yellow cards are starting to stack up on one side. Meanwhile, while Ocampo has gotten away with slapping Chris Kappas across the face.
Rios holding off for Urguide. Urguide gets his body in the way and wins a free kick. And Collodi will send his teammates up the field. 1-0, 36th minute. Steve called for a backstreet brawl. That is a good representation of this opening half hour and change.
That's paid off. Look, they're 1-0 up.
Fight for the ball in midfield. Urguide on the backside of Rios. Here's a one over the top. Collodi and waiting for it to bounce, and Sabi just goes flying through the back of Nolan Norris, who got himself in a good position. And Steve, you just talked about the yellow cards on the Dallas ledger. Looks like Pinto in no hurry to book Emmanuel Sabi here.
Well, I'm wondering if she's going to book him the minute he gets up. We'll see.
The ball was very obviously going to bounce through for Michael Collodi, even with someone as fleet of foot as Emmanuel Sabi in pursuit.
It was just a moonshot, wasn't it? You know, maybe
a lot of contact.
Maybe the reason. Look, to be fair though, you know, Norris knows what he's doing there. He gets in Sabi's way, and Sabi does run through him. But you got to say some of that is on Norris as well.
Well, Sabi's now to his feet, and we haven't seen a yellow card produced.
Sabi definitely got the worst of it. Nolan, the kid that last year Petar Musa declared he need to eat more. He's turned into a pretty stout young man now. And Sabi just figured that out.
Sabi limps away without a yellow card to his name. Some of the Dallas fans here in attendance not too happy with that.
I mean, honestly, I don't mind that one. It's I can quibble with a couple of the other ones. I think a foul is probably just the right call there.
Colodi goes long. Header won there by Farrington. It's Kappas who darts in behind, now battling with Halbuni near the corner flag. Halbuni able to keep it in play, but it finds Logan Farrington again. Now on the dribble. Last touch off the Vancouver center back, out for a throw. And he managed to get some yardage back there, punting it out 30 yards from goal on the far side. And Torrey Pinto not happy with Dallas taking a little bit more time over these restarts. That's a quick word. As the throw's taken into Logan Farrington, unable to hold off his man there. Kappas defending from the wrong side against Sabi. Darts past him, but Kaike with a nice tackle wins it back. Bernie Kamungo on the turn. Early cross looking for Shaq Moore. Sent out of play on the far side by Ocampo.
That looked like Vancouver last week. That time to press and counter press for Dallas, effectively creating a turnover, and Bernie Kamungo almost turning to get into something.
And taken into Farrington. Farrington holding off his player. Musa called for something away from the ball.
I'm sorry, Torrey Pinto. If you're going to let a lot of play go, you can't call that one. He's just sort of creating a little shield and a little dummy there so the ball can roll into Farrington. But, I mean, it's fine if you want to call that, but you set a different standard for what you're calling foul, and Eric Quill is now making that case to the fourth official. Admittedly, it's a tough one because, you know, Dallas is being very physical. Vancouver's being physical back. I get it, but you just have to be consistent.
Takaoka launches this one long. Looking for Rios. Matched up here with Nolan Norris. Norris wins the header. Second ball nodded away by Kaiki. Back to Ramiro from Musa. Kaiki goes down. Still down here as Ocampo is chased back. Halbuni to Takaoka, and the Dallas midfielder's back to his feet. Kubas receives it, finally found the pocket of space. Maybe the most time he's had on the ball tonight, and he's doing what he does best, dictating play up the right side. Urquide makes sure there's nowhere to turn past him there for Thomas Muller, who dribbles out for a throw.
Urquide's positioning hasn't suffered after that early yellow card. He's still being really aggressive in terms of breaking out of that back three and, you know, chasing players well into the Vancouver end. But he's just not being quite as aggressive physically once he gets there, which is smart.
Briso skews that one off his left foot, makes it easy for Ibiaga to win possession back. Moore got that one wrong, though. Couldn't find Ramiro, and Kubas can lift it out to the far side for Sabi. Kamungo closes them down and does well just to stab it out for a throw.
I asked the question a while ago, can Dallas maintain that intensity? They have, 42 minutes in.
3 and change, plus whatever's added on from taking a halftime lead into the break. Dallas 8 wins, 2 losses, and a draw this season when leading at halftime. Halbuni swings it out to Ocampo on the far side. Brings it into the attacking half for Vancouver. Down the line for Sabi. Set back for Sebastian Berhalter. Kubas keeps it moving. Johnson's found some space to drive forward here on the near side. Out to Ali Ahmed. No way past Shaq Moore. Good defending there from the Dallas right back, but he can't connect with Kaiki. And now he's out of position as Dallas scramble back. Muller in behind for Johnson. Norris goes flying in. A huge tackle won there from Nolan Norris. He's left Johnson down on the ground. And so far in those moments, front-footed defending has won out as Muller frustratedly kicks it out of play with Johnson still laying prone.
I think Shaq Moore is the one player that I'm seeing his energy level has dropped just a little bit. I mentioned that he was so active and so physical early, and that's exactly what Dallas needed. But it's, you know, it is difficult to maintain that pace, even though it's a nice, cool night here. I tell you who's really bringing it is Kappas in the midfield as well. I mean, his ability, to press from those higher midfield positions is really disrupting what Vancouver wants to do. Seb Berhalter and Andres Kubas just really can't get a good foothold on the game like they had last week.
Well, it's hard to overstate the force and the challenge from Nolan Norris. He did win the ball cleanly and then just absolutely cleared out Johnson just inside the penalty area. Johnson getting treatment on the field right now. Looks like he might be in trouble, and they're already down in the depth chart at left back as well. Adekumbe was the starter to start the year, and Johnson has done so well stepping into that position as a rookie. I'm not sure who would come in at left back if he can't continue.
I assume it'd be Laborda. He's a right back by trade, but he's been playing center back, so I think he can play left. Yeah, he can play left back. I mean, Johnson got it was knee on knee, and then he fell on his shoulder. I think that's what's hurt.
Michael Collodi instructing the Dallas fans to applaud Johnson on his way off as he's got back to his feet. And we'll see how they restart play, because for any other player on the field, you think a ball that skews out of play off their foot, that could happen. But it was Thomas Muller who seemed to have purposefully put it out.
Yeah, I think so.
See if Dallas feels that way. They will throw it back to Berhalter in Vancouver.
Logan Farrington.
He was interested, wasn't he?
He was chasing, and somebody had to tell him, hey man, that's not what we're doing here. And he held his hand up.
The sporting thing to do as Johnson waits. Still getting some treatment, checking out that shoulder. Vancouver momentarily with 10 men. Takaoka keeps it moving to Priso. Priso, direct ball into the feet of Ahmed, set back for Berhalter. Rios holding off for Aguide, but gives it away to Shaq Moore. Shaq Moore on the dribble, tripped up by Priso cleanly.
Oh, I think Shaq Moore took an extra dribble. I think he could have found Farrington with that next touch.
And Dallas sprinting back here as Ocampo drives forward. Sabi from the corner of the area. Muller on the overlap, chipped ball towards the back post, and Ibiaga can head it away there, where Petter Musa was joining in on the defending after an entire field-level sprint, field-length sprint. 4 minutes added on. Berhalter will take the corner kick from the near side. Dallas just have to see this lead into the halftime break as Johnson waits to re-enter the game. It's 5 against 1 in favor of Dallas inside the 6-yard box. Vancouver 3-men across the top. Left arm raised for Berhalter. In towards the near post, headed away there by Ibiaga. Sabi picks up the loose ball, back for Ocampo. Ocampo looking to turn past Norris, and Norris, too aggressive that time, commits the foul. And this is a free kick in a very dangerous position for Sebastian Berhalter.
Norris might be a little lucky to escape a yellow card on that one, because he didn't get anywhere close to the ball as Ocampo was trying to cut back to the inside, and he just gave him a big, swift kick across the shins.
I did love Nolan's reaction. Just clapped his hands together like, man, he got me that time.
Yeah, he did.
And now it's another set piece for Dallas to defend as we've played 90 seconds of stoppage time. Johnson back out on the field.
I was about to comment that it's Nolan Norris has drawn the assignment of marking Muller on the corner kicks. Sort of trying to do the math here. Was Nolan Norris even born as Muller got his pro career started? I don't think so.
That's, yeah, it would have been right around the same time. Muller now at 36 years of age. Year 19 of his pro career. Berhalter, free kick from the far side. Dangerous ball sent in. Nobody got a touch as it goes all the way through and behind for a goal kick. And Berhalter not happy with his teammates there, because that was a really nice service.
Yeah, I think he maybe could have landed maybe a yard and a half, 2 yards, a little further out though. I think he put it a little too close to that back post. Just got ahead of everybody.
Fans on their feet at Toyota Stadium as we're halfway through first half stoppage time with the lead intact. Petter Musa from Ramiro. Launched long. Musa caught between two Whitecaps defenders there. Farrington fighting for the loose ball. Commits a foul against Priso. There's going to be some bumps and bruises after the 90 minutes tonight. The Ice Baths will be ready to go. Priso goes back to Takaoka to resume play. Ocampo down the line. Sabi maybe just a little fatigued at this point, didn't want to make the run. So it bounces through for Michael Collodi. Collodi with Rios keeping close watch. Will send this one down the field. Sidewinding punt. Bodies hit the ground as the fight for the second ball commences. Kappas crashing into Halbuni. Eventually, Priso launches it clear. Norris header back towards Chris Kappas at the other end. It's Farrington out to Bernie Kamungo. Header down the line for Kaiki, picking up an advanced position here. A little sombrero flick over Ocampo, and then finds Ramiro in the middle. Back to Kaiki. Sliding tackle from Ocampo. Breaks back for Ramiro. Sets it back for Bernie Kamungo here. Final seconds of the first half. Kamungo along the ground spotted the run of Musa. It was a good idea. Repelled out for a throw. There's a Vancouver player down in the area.
Well, it's Berhalter. He was down about 40 yards away from goal. He holding his head. He got back up and then collapsed inside the penalty area. I think he is really hurt.
Oh, he just ran right into the shoulder of Petar Musa.
And that is not a shoulder you really want to run into.
And so there's concern, maybe concussion concern for Sebastian Berhalter here on the stroke of halftime. And that's frustrating from a Dallas perspective because they had an attacking throw in there, and now we're heading into the halftime break without them being able to take it. But they take a lead into the halftime break. Petar Musa got the scoring started in the opening 45. Dallas turning things into a bit of a brawl in the first half, and Steve, that was to good effect.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Look, it was always going to be about adding some intensity, adding some intent to this thing, and they absolutely did it, and they have been rewarded with a 1-0 halftime lead.
Halfway to extending the series. We'll talk about it on the halftime show. For now, it's FC Dallas 1, the Vancouver Whitecaps 0 here on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The Sin sparks here.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Petar Musa and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 45 plus minutes at Toyota Stadium, it's FC Dallas 1, Vancouver Whitecaps 0 in this 2025 MLS Cup Playoff first round, Game 2 here at Toyota Stadium. Hello everybody, it is the FC Dallas halftime show brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you this evening by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in a few moments by the voices of tonight's game, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. But let's start first with your halftime highlights. Dallas and Vancouver brawled it out for about 25 minutes until the Moose broke loose.
There's another giveaway off the header. Fortunately, Berhalter turns it right back over Ramiro through the middle of the field. Petar Musa streaking in behind. Petar Musa onto the left side, pokes it past Takaoka! Musa's first goal in the MLS Cup Playoffs, and Dallas have life the series.
Musa's 19th goal of the regular and postseason, first in MLS playoff action, made it 1-0 Dallas off a wonderful assist from Ramiro, and that is where the score stood at the end of the first half. Let's bring you tonight's halftime stats, which are brought to you by UMB Bank. Vancouver's leading the possession battle 58-42, but Dallas 8 shots, 3 of those on target, 4 shots for the Whitecaps, none of those on target. 3 corners for the visitors, 2 for the home side. Dallas has been offsides once, not once for Vancouver. 2 saves for Yohei Takaoka, no saves for Michael Colodi. 7 fouls for Dallas, 4 for Vancouver, yet 3 yellow cards for Dallas. Sebastian Biaga, Osaze Uragita, and Christian Kappas. No yellow or red cards yet for Vancouver. Now we bring in our commentary team for the night. It's Ryan Figert, it's Steve Davis. And Steve, we said all week, hey, at minimum, Dallas needs to show some effort, show some fight, some bite. They've done all of that tonight, and as a result, they have a lead at halftime.
Yeah, I would say they've hit the minimum standard and then quite a bit more. It would have been one thing if we'd seen this team come out 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It'd absolutely be a bunch of 11 wrecking balls out there, and then maybe drop the intensity a little bit just because you can't sustain that level of effort. We didn't see that. We saw it for 45 minutes, and that's really to their credit. You had to wonder where this team's mentality is after it just getting so thoroughly outplayed last week. It might be difficult to be confident. I think they just skipped past confident and just said, we're just going to go fight. We're going to make sure that no matter what happens in this best-of-3 series, we're going to make sure Vancouver knows they're in a series and they're not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be easy. And if they have anything to say about it, they're not going to let Vancouver celebrate here in their building. So it's worked so far because we said they had to turn it into a little bit of a brawl. And they did, and it's a 1-0 lead because of it.
Yeah, I thought Saturday night's main event was in Salt Lake City. No, it's here in Frisco, Texas tonight with the amount of people on the ground getting hit. But, Ryan, the big highlight of that first half is Pedro Musa's first postseason goal. But I'm curious, did you like the goal more or that killer through ball by Ramiro that set the Moose loose?
I love to see it play out from a vantage point here because you saw the ball just split through, multiple lines of Vancouver defenders. And Musa, of course, as he does, making the perfectly timed run. The finish, I think, is trademark Pedro Musa, but the actual run, he doesn't do much running in behind, but he found the space, he saw the opportunity, and he and Ramiro were on the same page. It was beautiful to watch that through ball right through the middle of the field, cut them open, and Musa precise as always inside the area. He's
such a smart player. A lot of times on those breakaways, you see a guy try to get in on goal, and then he might move himself in front of the defender, and that's okay, but by then the defender might be too close, or you might have already lost the race. What Musa did right after he takes his first touch and takes a few steps, then he moves himself in front of Ralph Priso. Priso then has to do that thing where he sort of really almost hits the brakes and throws his arms up, and he knows if I bundle myself into Musa right now, it's red card, game over. I'm leaving this game. So it totally interrupts his momentum, and from there, Musa is able to take off, create the separation that gives him the time and the space then to toe poke it past Takaoka.
Yeah, we did a lot of record watching for Pedro Musa in the regular season. He ended tied in the regular season record of 18 goals. He's now tied in the total record of 19 goals because in Jason Christ's season when he had 18, he did also score in the playoffs. So a goal in the second half or a goal in a potential game 3, and he's the new king of goals.
It's great to be compared to Jason Christ anytime you're an FC Dallas player, and especially for Musa tonight. Well, the other side of this being a bit of a dogfight on the pitch is it's been very physical, but Dallas has really suffered the other side of that, Steve. 3 yellow cards, including 2 to critical center backs, Osaze and Sebastian Biaga. And this is not a discussion about refereeing because I don't like to do it, and so we're not going to do it. But it's something that Dallas is going to have to pay attention to as they go into the second half because they've got 3 of their 11 players 1 card away from being thrown out of the game.
Yeah, and you said it a minute ago. It's Uragita, Kappas, and Ibiaga that have the yellow cards right now. So that's 2 of the 3 center backs. So that's something to really pay attention to. But and I tell you what, I think Dallas has been the more physical team, so it doesn't surprise me that they've got the majority of the yellow cards. I would have liked to have seen Ocampo get 1, if not more, for the rake across the face of Chris Kappas as they got tangled up in the corner. But look, Sam, for me, it's not just the intensity that they're bringing, but it's also tactical and adding that extra player in midfield, and it's Kappas. And right now, you look at it, nominally he's the number 10. He should be creating. He's not creating. That's fine, because what he's got right now is 20 touches. He's 7 of 9 on passes. As a creator, those aren't great numbers. But really, the creativity is going to come tonight by going in direct to Logan Farrington, Petar Musa. Meanwhile, Kappas, he's so busy. He's so energetic and so smart in leading the press. It's really interrupting what they want to do, which is control possession through Kubas and through Seb Berhalter. Right now, Berhalter has 38 touches. That's about 20% less than he had in the first half last week, but it's also where he's getting those touches, Ryan. He's getting the touches well back at his end, mostly, and maybe a little bit in the midfield area, but whereas last week he was getting everything in midfield and even into the final third. So where he's getting those 38 touches matters. Also, Kubas, last week at this time, I think he had about 45 touches. He's got 20 right now.
Yeah, I think it's one to watch for Berhalter because he was down to end the half. If he can continue. If not, obviously that goes in Dallas's favor with the quality that he possesses. The one area that he has had a decent amount of impact is on set pieces, and Dallas just has to be careful. We saw this earlier in the season, committing a lot of fouls in and around the area, and when you're up against a team that has a set piece specialist in Sebastian Berhalter, you definitely can't give those fouls away. But going back to Kappas, I think he looks like a different player out there to me tonight, and I mean that in every positive way. He is up for the fight. He's physical. He's smart with his runs in behind. He's leading the press, as you said, Steve. I think I sort of thought of him as the metronomic guy. He just keeps it moving. He's clean, connected. He's a wrecking ball in there tonight. He's giving some Logan Farrington, some Petar Musa energy, and those three big bodies are making life difficult along the back line for Vancouver.
So we talk about creativity. It's not artistic creativity, but one of the ways you create something on the attack is by doing that. Chaos creation, winning second balls, turn it into transition moments, and that's what's happening out there with Kappas tonight. So he is being a creator, just not in the classic
silky smooth,
Mauro Diaz or pick your I don't know why that one came to mind, but pick your number 10 kind of way.
Well, as we have a couple minutes left here, obviously Dallas up 1-0 as they come into the second half. Ryan, I'll start with you. What do you think the mentality is going to be for Dallas? Are they going to try to come out for that second goal, or are they going to try to play to preserve this 1-0 lead, knowing that if you go draw at 90 minutes, you do have penalties behind you?
I don't think you can afford to drop the level even 10% in the second half, because Vancouver's also going to bring in Ryan Gauld into this game, and an MVP level creator that can come into the game off the bench, and the second goal is going to be huge. Vancouver, if they go down 2-0, maybe they start looking towards Game 3, similar to what Dallas did last week, at BC Place, where they say, hey, we're not going to bring Ryan Gauld into this game and risk him getting re-injured because we've got another game on Friday, and that one's going to be for all the marbles. So I think the second goal could really shift this series and keep the momentum for Dallas going into a potential Game 3.
Also, if you drop your lines here, you're sending a message to your team that we don't need to be as aggressive. We don't need to be as intense. So I cannot in any way, shape, or form see Eric Quill telling them that right now, let's drop back a little bit and protect this lead, because that really changes your mindset. Right now, the mentality, the effort, the mindset is perfect. They don't need to do anything. Now, as the game goes on, maybe that changes a little bit as Vancouver starts pushing players forward. Maybe people naturally drop back a little bit, but right now, I guarantee you, he's saying we're going out the exact same way we're going for it.
I don't think there's a single fan here in Toyota Stadium tonight that wants to see Dallas come out and defend the lead. They want to see the same team that played the first half on the front foot, aggressive, fighting for every loose ball, first to every tackle. And if they go out and Vancouver, has a couple of moments of magic playing through the pressure and Dallas loses and the season ends tonight, I think the fans will go home happy knowing they've put absolutely everything on the field tonight. If they keep that same mentality in the second half, they'll have a great chance to win. And if not, I think it means a lot to the fans to see the fight they put on.
Well, it's 45 minutes to eternity for FC Dallas. They lead 1-0 over the Whitecaps here in Game 2. A win, and they go back to Vancouver next week for take-all Game 3. A loss, and the season is over. It's a critical moment for FC Dallas as they get ready for the second half here in Frisco. That's going to do it for the halftime show. When we return, Ryan and Steve get you ready for second half kickoff. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Hi everyone, it's Paxton Pomacall, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Well, 45-minute scrap in the first half leads to a Dallas lead coming into the second 45. Their first change is an enforced one. Christian Kappas going off with an injury. We don't quite know what that is yet for Kappas, but Sebastian Lletget takes his place with the Dallas 11. And we just waxed lyrical about Kappas and his impact on the first half, Steve, in the halftime show. How is that going to look different with Sebastian Lletget taking his place?
Well, look, Sebastian Lletget is a really good possession player. He's got a little bit of creativity in him, but he is not the chaos creator that Kappas was in the first half. So he's just going to have to do his best. He can't try to be Chris Kappas. He's got to be Sebastian Lletget, but it's going to change the game just a little bit. By the way, I just looked down. Ali Ahmed is playing in this game, right? Because I don't know that I heard
compared to the first leg when he was running rampant. Yeah.
I don't know that I heard him. You call his name more than once or twice there. And I think that's a lot of credit to Shaq Moore and Ibiago over there.
It looks like an injury change on the Vancouver side as well. Johnson is replaced. We saw him dealing with a shoulder injury, and as Steve predicted, it's Matias Laborda who will play left back. Berhalter has come out for the second half. Note on Sebastian Lletget. This is his first minutes since September 20th when he played 1 minute off the bench against Austin. He hasn't played 45 minutes or more since August 16th, and he's thrown right back in the fire here to start the second half. You think he'll probably play 45, and he's got to be the one to supply the front line of Musa and Farrington. Musa with the goal in the first half. Looking for more here in half number 2 of game number 2 in this opening round of the MLS Cup Playoffs.
Even if he can't play 45, got a guy named Paxton Pomacall over there that could play, and he would be a little bit more of a chaos creator.
Underway for half number 2 at Toyota Stadium. Berhalter launches it long out to the far side, looking for Ali Ahmed, where Shaq Moore is able to win the header and nod that one out of play.
I mean, I remember Ahmed got matched up one time with Ibiago over there. A little bit of an island, but really he just hasn't had much to say about this game at all.
Fight for the loose ball. Thomas Muller gives it away here to Logan Farrington. 1v1 with Hal Booney in the middle of the field. Vancouver with bodies streaming back, but Bernie Kamungo's darting forward from left back. Gets wrong side of Hal Booney. Referee plays advantage as Dallas maintains possession on the left side. Logan Farrington on the dribble, given some space here. Poked it in behind, goes down. And he's waved up as he released the ball, I think looking for Kamungo as he was clattered into there.
Yeah, Kamungo was making an inside run and sort of didn't read the same space that Farrington read. Logan Farrington, though, doing a good job of taking that ball from the left side and driving right at the heart of the Vancouver defense.
Physical battle there between Sabi and Kamungo on the long ball, and it bounces for Nolan Norris. He gets it back to Michael Collodi.
Norris didn't really talk about him at halftime, but in a tough spot tonight, he's done well.
Aragide fighting to get back positioning against Rios and does. Collodi quickly out to Bernie Kamungo, brings it down on the near side. Finds Ramiro in the middle. Ramiro back to Bernard. Touches it past Sabi and then finds Ramiro, now advancing through the middle of the field. Tripped up by Berhalter. Managed to keep possession to find Farrington. Kaiki looking for the space with Shaq Moore. Does break for Musa. In behind for Shaq Moore. Spinning off the right foot of Petar Musa. And he just missed his man there.
Musa's such a good passer. He just didn't get the angle right that time. And he had Shaq Moore out in space.
Abiaga wins back the second ball. Ramiro now looking for Kaiki further forward. Quickly wins it back. Here's Petar Musa, middle of the field. Lifts it towards Farrington. Read that time by Laborda. Gide settles it in the middle.
Excuse me, Ryan. Jasper Sorensen, Vancouver coach, frustrated on the sideline. His team just can't really get the foot on the ball right now.
Farrington lays it at the feet of Leggett on the dart up the left side. Only Vancouver bodies around him. Ocampo and Berhalter. And Leggett goes down and wins a free kick in the wide areas. This will essentially be a corner kick as Berhalter got caught wrong side and went flying in against the Dallas veteran.
I sort of like Bernie Kamungo a while ago. Leggett had the ball heading toward the corner, really didn't have any options. Try to get a corner kick or a foul out of it, and just like Bernie a while ago, he did.
And so this will be a corner kick with a couple of yards extra to create a better angle for Sebastian Leggett, who we know can really provide from these set-piece situations.
Torrey Penso's just drawn a line about 13 yards away from Leggett, so he's got a couple yards extra on the little bit of a wall.
Dallas crowds the 6-yard box. Deep breath for Sebastian Leggett, thrust into the action here in the second half after the Kappas injury.
Takaoka's not the biggest keeper.
In towards Takaoka. He gets a fist to it, but it skews out for a corner kick, I believe. Neither the referee, Torrey Penso, or the assistant wanted to make the decision. It was a long wait before they pointed for a goal kick instead.
That's one where, Ryan, you've been in the game a long time. Sometimes the referee just doesn't have any idea, and you just got to make the best call you can. And usually you're going to give it to the defensive team.
Priso straight out of play.
Again, Dallas's press. Vancouver just hasn't really been able to solve it tonight. By the way, also didn't mention Michael Collodi at the halftime show because he hadn't had much to do. No saves so far.
7 in game 1 at BC Place. You get the feeling that he will have to have a big moment at some point tonight.
And he's been aggressive in coming off his line a couple of times. That part's good.
Norris long diagonal looking for Farrington. Header won by Laborda. And now Vancouver combining well. Ali Ahmed finds some space. They've got a numbers up break here, Vancouver. But Urquide able to intercept. Really good work there from the Dallas center back. And now Shaq Moore. Diagonal ball in behind. Musa was waiting on this near side, but Ocampo gets it back to the goalkeeper. Thomas Muller on the halfway line, gets his head up. All the runners are to his left. Ocampo goes on the overlap to the right. Thomas Muller, full sprint through the middle. It breaks out wide now. A chance for Ali Ahmed. Cuts back, sliding block there from Shaq Moore. And that gets the crowd on their feet.
Now Shaq Moore's having a heck of a match. I mean, he's one of the experienced guys. Not really in the national team picture right now, but he's been there before. And that experience and top-level fight is showing tonight.
Well, funny enough that you mentioned that. The men's national team sending an assistant to scout tonight at the game. Obviously watching Berhalter, some of the Caps players that have been in the picture more recently, but a chance for Shaq Moore to make an impression as well.
Sure.
Was a part of the squad that went to Qatar for the last World Cup.
Sure, they're keeping an eye on Nolan Norris as well.
To be a corner kick for Berhalter, in swinger from the far side. He goes short. Ali Ahmed matched up with Kaiki. Overlapping run from Sabi. Chipped ball is blocked by Ramiro. Volleyed away by Kaiki. Lifted over the top, looking for Muller. Musa had stayed back and won the header. And now Urquide finds Leggett. Tons of space for Sebastian Leggett to drive forward through midfield. And Thomas Muller got a big piece of Sebastian Leggett as he released it. He still managed to get it out to Kamungo, who's kind of on an island here. Eventually chops back. He's on the right wing. Puts it through the legs of his man and then lifts it back out to Musa, who's at left wing back. Things are all scrambled. Shaq Moore goes on the overlap. Musa off the outside of the right foot finds the chest of Farrington, looking to juggle it back towards the Moose, who got a piece, but it goes out for a Vancouver throw, and Dallas can hopefully regain their shape. Well, it looks like Kamungo and Moore will have to hold put for now. opposite sides of where they usually set up.
Yeah, it was funny a minute ago. It was Petar Musa with the defensive clearance out to Urguide.
Urguide wins it back there from Rios. And Kubas nearly gave it away to Petar Musa inside the box. Managed to get it back to Takayoko, gets it out to Ahmed. It's going to go 1v1 with Ibeagha in the wide area. Ibeagha booked in the first half. Ahmed turns back to Kubas, and now Berhalter in the middle. And Rios unable to get back to his feet. He stayed down behind the play, so Vancouver playing without a striker. As Rios is sat down in their defensive half. They play on for the moment. I don't know if they've spotted it just yet. Now they do.
Well, they have. They've already got the sub up and ready to go.
Well, Brian White still on the training table with a hamstring injury. He's the usual starter. Rios the backup. So if Rios can't continue, they'll go further down the depth chart to Ryan Alumi, who's caused problems for Dallas over the course of these recent weeks. A young 18-year-old homegrown does have a couple of goals on the season and got an assist last week on the third goal.
I mean, he's been a real problem off the bench for Dallas in both the last two games.
Not often you go to the third striker on the depth chart and you have a little bit of fear of what they might be able to produce, but that's this Vancouver team this season. As we get a look at what happened to Rios, he just stepped wrong and tweaked the ankle, the left foot bending underneath the weight as he stepped back. And so the physical nature has turned this into a bit of a war of attrition, and both teams made a change through what we suspect was injury in the first half, and now maybe a second change on the way for Vancouver as well.
And tell you somebody else we haven't mentioned for his defensive work. Ramiro, of course, with that great pass a while ago to create the goal for Petar Musa, but his ability to orchestrate the midfield, and also just the veteran Weil, having have so much of that been there, done that. A minute ago, as Ali Ahmed had Ibeagha one-on-one, Ramiro is just directing Ibeagha into the right spot as he comes over to help, and all of a sudden, just like that situation's neutralized just because he knows, he anticipates, he sees the danger, knows where to be to help Ibeagha there.
We were speaking about the World Cup just a moment ago. You can win World Cup tickets at the World Cup Draw Watch Party hosted here at Toyota Stadium on December 5th. You can join the DFW soccer community as the participating nations find out where they'll start their journey next summer. Doors open at 10:30 a.m. and the World Cup Draw kicks off at 11 a.m. Central Time. You can head to fcdallas.com for more info. We resume play with Alumi now taking his spot atop the formation for Vancouver. Lifted towards Muller. First touch for Alumi, holding off Norris. And Norris whistled for a foul in the middle. Alumi's first action is to win a free kick just outside the center circle. Norris not happy with this decision. In the first half, he was happy to put his hand up after committing a foul. Didn't agree this time. Switching ball from Berhalter, looking for Sabi. Header won by Kamungo in the path of the ball. And now Leggett finds Kamungo, can drive forward here through the middle of the field. Kaike loose touch in the middle, showed too much to Berhalter. Now it swings back the other way. Thomas Muller wide on the far side. Ibeagha a couple yards away. Here's a low ball sent in, gobbled up by Kolodi. Rolls it out to Kamungo. Looking to put the ball in behind for Farrington. Picked off there easily by Halbouni. Both sides have had to make changes because of injuries in this game. We've got Laborda at left back after Johnson started. We've got Leggett in midfield for Kappas on the Dallas side, and now Alumi in place of Rios. Halbouni on the ball for Vancouver. Moves it over to Priso. Farrington closing him down. Here's Muller between the lines. Out wide for Ahmed. Ibeagha defending. Back to Thomas Muller. Looking to get to his right foot. Pokes it across the face of goal. Across the face of the 18-yard box, sorry. And then there's a collision with Kamungo fouled. And while we have a moment, we'll turn it down to our sideline reporter, Garrett Melser.
Hey guys, I was able to sit down at Eric Quill's halftime team talk, and let me tell you, that was a much happier head coach than the previous Game 1 halftime up in Vancouver. He was very complimentary of everything the team did over the first 45 minutes, and the first thing he said was, that is the team I know, playing with the mentality that got us here. Now, on the one change, Christian Kappas leaving the game for Sebastian Lletget, I'm hearing that is an upper leg injury, possibly a hamstring injury, and that's all I have at this time. Back to you.
Thanks, Garrett. Getting confirmation on this substitution and the reason for it. Dallas thought they had a throw, but it'll be a Vancouver throw near Jesper Sorensen's technical area here on the near side.
Just a little data to back up what Eric Quill told the team about being that team. Vancouver had 22 shots last week. Approaching the hour mark, you have 3.
Farrington finds Musa, back to Farrington. 25 yards from goal, central position, back to Ramiro, wide for Bernard. Bernard looking to combine with Lletget. Nice back heel, back to Kamungo, and now Lletget again. Dallas just keeping it moving near the corner flag. 1-2 springs Bernie Kamungo. His cross whipped in, headed away by Hal Booney, and out for a Dallas throw.
Nice little 3-man game in the corner between Kaike, Lletget, and Bernie Kamungo, turning into that Kamungo cross that does get headed away.
The throw in taken along the top of the box. Here's Farrington from distance looking for the top corner, but just got under it. It was always rising past Takaoka and over the bar.
Yeah, really quick, nice thinking there from Bernie Kamungo. Took a quick throw in. Farrington had a little bit of space, but the ball got caught up under his feet just a little bit. If he pushes it out in front of him, I think he can hit that shot with a lot more power.
Long ball. First touch was a heavy one from Uragide, and that springs Ali Ahmed on the far side. 1v1 with Ebiaga. Ahmed drop of the shoulder, and he wins a corner kick as Ebiaga blocks it behind.
Thomas Muller starting to be a little bit more influential now as the game opens up just a little bit. Dallas not quite able to get as close to those white shirts as they were in the first half.
Another corner kick opportunity for Berhalter from the far side. Vancouver stationed 3 players on top of the 6. Thomas Muller inside the 6, and now Halbuni joins that collection of Caps, looking to create some chaos here. Berhalter in swinger over everybody's head. He got that one wrong as the runs went to the near post, and the ball goes over the line for a goal kick.
It's interesting. It was Lletget that time that was marking Thomas Muller, whereas in the first half it was Nolan Norris.
Colodi will let the team catch their breath here as we've played just about 15 minutes in the second half. 30+ stoppage time away from a potential Game 3 in Vancouver.
And the Whitecaps still looking for their first shot on target.
Colodi slipped as he let that one go, and he heads out of play straight to Jesper Sorensen. They take the throw quickly into Sabi as Dallas shifts their back line across from right to left. Sabi runs into Lletget. Lletget got all of the ball, but he's been whistled for a foul. Vancouver tries to play quickly, but the referee brings it back. Just bringing it way back. I'm not sure what the contact was there. I guess maybe Bernard from behind it was a bit of a Emmanuel Sabi sandwich. Halbuni looking to find Sabi. Kamungo steps in front. Lost hold of the ball though, and it turns back over to the Whitecaps. Thomas Muller running the game on the far side. Gets it out to Ahmed. Sliding tackle from Shaq Moore. Puts it out for a throw. Up against a Canadian international winger. And Ali Ahmed, who's worked his way into the picture for Jesse Marsh. There's Matias Laborda out of Uruguay. Back after the suspension in Game 1. Off the bench here in the second half. Halbuni out to Ocampo. Farrington sprints across to close him down into the feet of Alumi. Alumi back for Berhalter. Dallas sitting back into their shape here defensively as it's wide with Ali Ahmed on the far side. Ahmed into the feet of Muller. Shaq Moore takes it from Thomas Muller, finds Petter Musa. A couple of headers back and forth between he and Ramiro, and then Lletget looking to turn with the ball, and then the loose ball breaks for Bernie Kamungo, who slides it down the field. Ocampo gets it back to Halbuni. And the Whitecaps starting to see more and more of the possession, like we saw in Game 1 at BC Place. It's down the line for Ali Ahmed. Finds Laborda in the middle. Laborda with Uragide sliding in, makes the block, and Ramiro comes to clean it up. Sends it down the field. Farrington, a ton of jersey there for Eddie Ocampo. Eric Quill beside himself. Has a word with the fourth official as the ball is bent in by Berhalter from the near side behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Ryan, I think Eric's going to have to start thinking about going to the bench here pretty soon because, look, Dallas has expended so much effort physically, mentally, all the fighting. You know what? It does take something out of you, and you can see that the energy level has dropped just a little bit, and that's not a criticism so much as just sort of a physical reality. At some point, you're just not going to be able to sustain that level of effort. I see it mostly in Musa and Farrington up front, who've done so much work in the press and with the ball.
Musa wins it from this Collodi goal kick. Ramiro back to him. Now Musa chipped over the top. Laborda will chest it down. Finds Thomas Muller. Header out to Ahmed. Musa still defending over there. Shaq Moore wins it high up the field. Nearly broke for Ramiro. Instead, it'll be a Dallas throw. Petter Musa takes the throw in. Maybe his first of the season. Diving header in the middle from Ramiro. Nearly found Leggett. Kaiki over the top looking for Farrington. He'll be tracked down by Laborda. Shaq Moore puts him under pressure. Launched high. Ibiaga wins the header. Back to Laborda. Testing out his left foot as a right-footed player. He sends it towards Alumi. Uragide back to Collodi. Sends it long. Leggett challenging for it. Loses out there to the much taller Halbuni. Ibiaga intercepts the pass. Neither team really clean in the second half with the ball.
No, it's still a game of chaos.
Ramiro finds Musa, finds Kaiki with space. Now Bernie Kamungo along the left side. Touch takes him wide towards the corner flag. Ocampo back defending. It's cross blocked by Ocampo, who will send it down the field. Norris looking to beat Alumi to it and does. Breaks for Ramiro in the middle. Ramiro in towards Musa, trying to flick it on towards Farrington. Priso sliding in to get it to Ahmed. And Laborda goes back to Takaoka. Shaq Moore pressing all the way to the goalkeeper. Now he's out of position. Vancouver trying to build up on his side as he works his way back into the play. Eddie Ocampo, space in front of him to bring the ball forward. Sabi wide to the right, Alumi in the middle. Here's Emmanuel Sabi. Back to Ocampo. Leggett defending, low cross sent in, repelled by Norris. Back to Sabi inside the area. Sabi left-footed shot, blocked by Nolan Norris.
Nolan Norris had a good game. The one mistake a while ago on the foul just before the halftime, but that turned into nothing for Vancouver. So he's found the right spots. He's got the right intensity. Can't see that youth tonight. Looks like a grown man out there.
Sebastian Berhalter readies another corner kick, this time from the near side, under the Rhine. Dallas supporters making their voices heard. Berhalter flights it in towards the top of the six. It falls at the feet here of Laborda, looking to get turned. Nobody's really got hold of it. Eventually, Leggett sends it clear. Matias Laborda, who scored here at Toyota Stadium a couple seasons ago, unable to get a shot away that time. Halbuni stepping out to the back line, fires it out to Ali Ahmed. Muller operating more and more off this left side as the game has worn on. Kaiki defending against Muller. Ahmed goes back for Kubas. We'll keep it moving here. Halbuni to Ocampo. Dallas shifting from side to side. Ocampo out to Sabi. Sabi closed down by Kamungo. Finds Kubas in the middle. Shaq Moore looking to get there first ahead of Ali Ahmed. And I think Ali Ahmed's made a real meal of this one. Would have been a Vancouver throw. Instead, it's going to be a free kick and a really dangerous corridor. Wide on the far side. Corner of the box extended. And I just don't see any contact there.
Yeah, I think he was on the right foot as he came through. Just as he was moving by him, he got him right on the top of the foot.
This is one of those where, with a right-footed set-piece service, it could bend towards the back post and go in without a touch. This is a big test for Michael Collodi.
Dallas drawing their line just about a step off on top of the penalty spot.
Vancouver with 5, looking to attack this from Sebastian Berhalter. Collodi bouncing on the balls of his feet. Berhalter whips it in. Collodi thought about coming out, but Norris wins the header for him. Breaks out for Ocampo. Second ball sent into the danger area. Nodded towards the top of the box. Emmanuel Sabi receives it there. Priso sets it down for Thomas Muller. Looking for the ball in behind. Overhit that one. It's behind for a goal kick.
You'd expect a lot of players to miss connection on that one. He had the lane, he had the angle. You'd expect a lot of players maybe to overhit it, but Thomas Muller isn't one of them. So when you got Thomas Muller having to hurry his passes, because you've created a game of this kind of intensity, that kind of chaos, you've done something right.
Interesting here as we wait for the goal kick. Torrey Pinso needs to have a word with, looks like, Ocampo and Musa, who were jockeying for position. Usually see that on a corner kick or a free kick, not usually a goal kick. But they know, Vancouver does, where Dallas wants to put this ball. And Collodi does launch it in the direction of Petar Musa. It's a header won by Kubas, straight out of play. Dallas throw coming on the halfway line.
Ocampo is still interested in tangling with Musa over there. You better be careful about that.
Kaique came flying across the midfield and really only had the idea to make sure that Vancouver didn't have a counterattack. He fortunately got a deflection and won a throw. Which Kamungo takes back to Norris. They'll move it across the back line. Muller closing down Aragide. It's back to Nolan Norris. Lifts it down the line. Kamungo flicking it on. Halbouni, first time ball is a good one. Finds Berhalter in the middle. Ali Ahmed closed down quickly by Kaique. Advantage played.
Kaique still got the energy, doesn't he?
That is, he has a tireless engine in the middle of the field. And he's done well to toe the line of energy and physicality so far in this game.
You know, meanwhile, Ramiro hasn't really had to get into those physical battles. He's the guy that's back there really smartly positioned, and he's just there before he has to rush into a situation.
Priso ball forward into the feet of Ahmed. Working with Muller on the far side. Muller spots Kubas in a central position. Diagonal ball out to this near side for Sabi. Brings it down with the first touch. Kamungo defending, got a piece of it as it was intended for Ocampo. It will break for Ocampo, but Kamungo bites back in with a second tackle. Unfortunately, can't keep it in play. That's good Bernie. That's what we saw over the course of that 10-game stretch run of the season. Not what we saw at BC Place in game 1. Looking much more comfortable tonight. He did have the ball in the net in the first half, but was a step offside on his run.
Is Muller getting a little tired? Second time in a row that he's given the ball away needlessly.
Well, they have a decent deputy in Ryan Gauld if they choose to go to the bench. Already had to make 2 changes for injuries and use the sub window here in the second half. Jack Moore into Farrington, back to Ramiro, finds Leggett in the middle. Heavy first touch from Leggett, crunching tackle from Kubas. Card quickly out, but this one might warrant a second look. Musa certainly thinks so. Sprints over to have his word with the referee. Thomas Muller just trying to pacify things in there.
A yellow card has been issued to Vancouver player number 20, Andres Kubas, in the 71st minute.
Now waiting to get a second look at this, and oh boy, I mean, he's got the legs straight out.
I've been wrong in this game already, but
I don't think it's going to be a red, but if it is, it wouldn't shock me, because I think the only thing that's going to keep this from being red is that Leggett's leg wasn't really planted
Well, that's the only reason that Leggett can still get up and play on.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a red card to a crucial player like Kubas could swing the entire series. But it won't be red. It'll be a yellow for the Paraguay international. Long ball from Norris. 50-51 by Leggett, but Dallas can't maintain the ball. It's out to Ali Ahmed at the other side. Finds Kubas in the middle. Sprays the pass out to Berhalter. Musa in pursuit, but wrong side here of Sebastian Berhalter. Now 40 from goal. Takes the shot on low towards the back post. Collodi not called into action, but he gave it a dive just in case. It'll be a goal kick.
Shots in the second half now even at 2.
72nd minute. 18 plus stoppage time between Dallas and a huge result here at home to extend the series. Collodi, plenty of air underneath this one. It clears the halfway line. Farrington flicks it along. Priso sends it back down the field towards the Dallas end. And it's back for Collodi again. Collodi, wrong footing, the pressing Alumi, gets it back out to Ibeagha. His ball down the line, easily controlled there by Laborda. And Steve, I think you're correct in your assessment that that front two for Dallas, as tired as the second half has worn on, they're just not there really as the target, but especially as the second ball.
Yeah, again, that's no criticism. They've really left it all out there.
Nice tackle in the middle from Ramiro. Now Kamungo is just going to go on a dribble here all on his own past 5-6 Whitecaps players. Here's Kamungo with Kubas going to ground. He got the last touch. And Kamungo's left frustrated. Sabi's left down on top of the box at the other end. As Vancouver ready, 2 more changes. There's another sliding intervention from Ramiro, and it bounces back Ocampo's way. Berhalter to Ocampo on the overlap. Finds Muller now popping up on the right side. Muller gives it away to Kamungo, who steps in and wins a foul from Thomas Muller. You see Ryan Gauld looking to get into this game, as well as Kenji Cabrera for the Caps. Pair of attacking changes. They'll wait as Collodi's readying this free kick.
Cabrera's another young reserve that caused Dallas a little bit of problems last week.
Collodi long towards Farrington. Second ball breaks Dallas's way, and the offside flag is up against Farrington. That'll give Vancouver a chance to get these changes in the game. First change, Kubas replaced by Ryan Gauld. And Emmanuel Sabi will be replaced by Cabrera, who got that 3rd goal last week. So Cabrera goes to the right wing. Gauld goes into the middle. And the midfield is a very attacking triangle of Thomas Muller, Ryan Gauld, and Sebastian Berhalter.
Yep, Ryan Gauld will do the work defensively, but he is definitely more of an attacking player than Andres Kubas. So there's your purpose and intent for Jesper Sorensen, the Vancouver coach.
I think Sorensen also, with that yellow card to Kubas, sensing how big that could be in a potential Game 3 and for the final stretch of this game as well. Muller off the left side, out to Ali Ahmed. Laborda goes on the overlap into Thomas Muller inside the area. Back heel back to Laborda. Stabbed away from him. Still not cleared, though. Eventually, it's Uragide to launch it down the field. And the pressure starting to pile on for the Caps. Ali Ahmed on the dribble, turning Kaique outside and in there.
Yeah, but he can't get by Shaq Moore again.
More aggressive, physical, closing him down, forcing him back here to Ralph Priso.
The wingers were so good in Vancouver. They just haven't been that much of a factor so far tonight.
Cabrera, first chance for him to make an impact. He puts it past Kamungo and then goes down. Referee says not enough there. It's still with the Caps. Habuni keeps it moving. Priso turns past Petter Musa and gets it out to Ali Ahmed again. Looking for Ryan Gauld, who goes down here. It was Ibeagha defending from the wrong side. No real appeal from Ryan Gauld, as it's still with the Whitecaps and Ali Ahmed. Finds Berhalter in the middle. Ocampo wide for Cabrera here on the near side. And a really bad coming together there. Farrington goes down with a yelp of pain, but he's been the one whistled for a foul. Something away from the play between him and Ocampo, who's already been in a tangle or two tonight.
I'm waiting to see the replay of that one. Ocampo has the ball. Farrington gets in the way, but look, Ocampo, as he goes down, there is a little coming together, but as he goes down, he kicks Farrington.
He's already done that today after the play, slapping Kappas in the first half.
It's twice he's gotten away with it.
No booking to his name. Interesting, I just saw Thomas Muller, as we await the restart, doing a little sprint, maybe just checking on how his legs are feeling as Anderson Julio comes across to represent the next Dallas alteration. That'll wait for now as he gets his jersey on.
I mean, I understand Eric Quill sort of wanted to stick with the guys that have done so well and reward them for that, but I mean, there's some exhausted players out there, and I'm glad to see him go to the bench now. Second change for Dallas coming in.
Berhalter and Gould stand over this free kick. Dallas with a three-player wall, now down to two as Farrington peels away. Set on top of the box. Back to three as Leggett takes his spot in the human barrier. It'll be Berhalter to chip this one in towards the back post, and Halbouni was there. Dallas did enough to put him off, and eventually it bounces through for a goal kick. That was a really dangerous service from Sebastian Berhalter.
Yeah, it was. It was a big old mess in there, too. I mean, that ball lands in such a dangerous spot, and it's Halbouni who's got the inside track on it, but he ends up getting a little touch as he's getting some hassle from behind from Urguide.
Julio getting his final instructions. He'll wait for the next opportunity. It's Collodi going to send this goal kick long. Looking for Musa. Shoulder to shoulder there with Berhalter, who got a foot on the ball. Laborda will drive forward from left back. Out to Ali Ahmed. Looking for a way past Kayike there. Forced back to Halbouni. Cabrera coming off the right wing, goes back for Halbouni again. Musa putting the pressure on Priso in the center circle. Farrington likewise to Halbouni, who's chased back to Takaoka. Fans getting behind the team here as we approach the 80th minute. Game 2 of this first round in the Western Conference. Dallas decidedly beaten at BC Place in Game 1. Found the response in the first half here in Game 2. And now looking for those final 10 minutes of grit, determination, fight to get it over the line. Berhalter out to Ali Ahmed. Diagonal ball. Bounces last touch, I believe, off of Ali Ahmed. It'll be a Dallas throw and a chance for Anderson Julio to make his introduction. He'll replace Logan Farrington, who, Steve, played a big part tonight in his return to the lineup.
Oh, he did. I mean, he helped set the tone. Wasn't involved directly in the goal. It's so important to this game, but he and Petar Musa up front, just as we said they needed to. Just absolutely tireless, relentless, and leading that press from the front. Causing chaos, drawing fouls, fouling themselves. It's a good shift.
And he'll watch on like the rest of us for this final 10 minutes plus stoppage time. Ebiaga volleys clear in behind the Vancouver back line. Julio first chance to stretch his legs and put Ocampo under pressure. Ocampo gets it back to Halbouni, again under pressure from Julio, turns back and plays his goalkeeper.
And you see immediately what a fresh player up front leading that press can do.
Vancouver still find a way through it as Gould Clattered into there by Norris, who's then fouled in the aftermath, I believe, by Cabrera. Not happy with that extracurricular contact.
Thomas Muller is funny. He's telling players on both sides, hey, just go back and play the game.
And his two teenagers half his age there.
He's telling Nolan Norris, he's telling him, you can see, he's like, just go back and defend.
Ocampo down the line, loose touch from Cabrera. Norris back to Collodi. Off the left foot of Collodi, long towards Julio. He wins the header, knocking it down, but out of the path of Musa. It's Laborda who picks it up.
Except for that one pass to Bernie Pamungo that went wrong. Collodi's made all the right choices.
Appeals for a foul there on the far side for Ahmed, waved away. Shackmore wins the battle again. Musa back defending, helping Dallas try to build out through their own box. Ill-advised there. But they work it at least 40 yards from goal before Kayike fouls Berhalter.
I don't really think they were trying to build out. I think Vancouver is just on them, and they didn't really have the opportunity to clear it without creating a dangerous ricochet.
Vancouver's final change is up and ready. They'll wait to make it, I believe, before this free kick is taken by Berhalter.
It's going to be Canadian international Jaden Nelson to come in.
Berhalter with 5 players across the top of the Dallas 18-yard box.